The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and think
He missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
Floating high off the southern tip of New York's Lake Seneca, you're looking down at Watkins Glen International, which today plays host to Round 5 of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series, sanctioned by the Quality Racing Syndicate, and all the action from green flag to Victory Donuts will be covered live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. In just under 15 minutes, a rolling grid of Mustangs and MX-5 will be shown the green flag, starting the clock for this 2.5-hour endurance event. So, get your internet feed routed to your big screen theater, pour yourself a Rattlesnake's Rosy Forbidden Apple Pie whiskey, grab a spinach and feta stuffed pretzel, and when your feet are up in the recliner, you'll be ready for the simulated sports car road course action that will be streaming your way. From the Empire State, welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soup Zahn. Helping me call the action is Sean Ambrose. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman. And at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. If you were with us last time from Suzuka, and shame on you if you weren't, you saw Mika Eshouse and James King team up to bring Bush Fink's Blues Mustang home for home and first in the Grand Sports Division. Now, in the Street Tuners class, you saw the dream team of Sonny Ketchen and Thomas Sabo once again earn the number 74 Asbury Motorsports MX-5 its third win in 4 tries. If those two teams are going to continue their dominance, they're going to have to do it on this tricky tarmac that is Watkins Glen. Sean, what does this place have in store for the racers today?
Bill, plenty. It has plenty in store, sir. We've got 3.4 miles, 11 great turns here. Classic course. This is the full enchilada, baby. We're running with the boot, the inner loop. It's going to be a fun trip around today, Bill. This track's been here forever. They hosted concerts back here for years and still do to this day. But I'll tell you what, if it was good enough for the Allman Brothers and the Grateful Dead and the band, it's good enough for me. I was here as a youngster, and that was a long time ago. But I'm looking forward to this one today. We've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5. He's going to take you around real quick and give you a fast lap around old Watkins Glen.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Watkins Glen. Down to turn 1, you've got a great passing opportunity into the 90. Just be careful because the downhill braking zone makes it easy to get over-ambitious into the corner. Now you've got a lot of paved runoff around the outside, but you really don't want to use it too much because you're going to need every ounce of momentum you can squeeze out of this little MX-5 as you climb back uphill. These S's are a lot steeper than they look on TV, and you're going to be flat to the floor not only through them, but also all the way down the backstretch. And that's where, if it were me, I wouldn't attempt to pass into 1, but instead wait to get into the draft up here and slingshot by with ease. The only thing is, at the end of this straight is the inner loop. This allows you to try to outbrake your opponent if you aren't fully past them. But going too wide through these tricky chicanes is going to invite trouble. Make sure you get single file by the time you hit the apex. After that, you're dumped into the carousel, which has a surprising amount of banking for a road course. It's a real balancing game to make sure you get on the power early enough, but not too soon so that you don't smack yourself into the Armco. Now we're headed back downhill again, and you're hit with the difficult braking of the chute. The car likes to understeer here, and you've also got a severe lack of runoff around the outside. Try your best to late apex it and carry your speed down to the bottom of the hill. Now we've hit the toe of the boot. This is another good place to try a pass, but what's tricky is that this hairpin requires getting your foot on the gas early because of the incredible incline on the exit. You're going to see drivers with bad runs look like they're standing still, and that is not good because the last place for a decent pass is coming up. It's the heel of the boot, and this bend is going to tempt people into turning in too early, which will badly upset the car. The curb to the inside just doesn't play nice with any car I've ever hit it with. After that, switch sides again to set yourself up for this off-camber left-hander that returns us to the main track. Getting the MX-5 to turn in and clip your apex here is like trying to feed a dog medicine. It's not impossible, but good luck. From there, it's a short stretch to Indianapolis, which also has a fair bit of banking. It's important to really get your car into that inside groove to carry your speed through this decently fast bend. Switch sides again and throw out the anchors one last time to slow it up for the final corner. The barrier right at the edge of the track makes this feel like a street course, so treat it with respect. Hopefully, you were able to keep the car whole, and as you come to the line, you've finished a lap around Watkins Glen.
And there's a lap around Watkins Glen by the multi-talented Amjad Yaman. He directs, he does the lap guides, and he was also runner-up in the 2007 East Texas Yo-Yo Championship. Now, Sean, we've looked at the track. Let's take a second and look at the point standings.
I guess you could say Amjad was in a state of yo. Let's look at the GS drivers standings right now. You've got Mika Eshouse up top there with 360 points. Craig Williams following behind, 68 points back. Patrick Bieri, 81 points back. Got a good chance today to maybe leapfrog Craig. Jeff Jacobs sitting back there, 104 points. And in fifth, James King, 110 points back there. Mick Eshouse, he's got to get going.
I saw Eshouse and King there. Those are the guys who've combined there for Bushfink Blue. There's your leaders up there with 364 points, or 360 points. Now behind them, Extreme, that's car number 38. We'll keep an eye on them. They're 68 back. Then another Bushfink team in the Spectrum, that is Bushfink, and that's red. They're 78 back. Extreme, number 32, in third place. And then Flying Tortoise, 156 back, rounding out the GS team standing. Sean, who do you got for ST Drivers Championships?
Yeah, let's talk about those drivers there in the ST class, the Global MX-5. Thomas Szabo leading the way, tied with Sonny Cancian, 392 points. Those two duking it out. Giuseppe Iannucci, 134 points, and Andre Saunders hot on his tail, 135 points back, just a point separating those two. Travis Schwenke in fifth, holding it down, 184 points back from our leaders, Szabo and Cancian. Bill, a lot to be decided between those two today.
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard because they're driving together. Now, there they are. They're the pilots of Asbury Motorsports car number 74. You saw them 1 and 2 in the point standings. That's because those guys show up every week and race together. So right now, not only are they tied for the Drivers' Championship, but they also have that Asbury number 74 out in front. Now, 49 Motorsports, the number 49 machine is 85 back. Right behind them now is another Asbury's car. That's the 426 machine. They're 87 back. 49er Motorsports, car number 47, 124 back. And then rounding out the top 5, Team Potato USA, 137 back. So, Sean, we've talked about the points and we've talked about the tracks. Why don't we take a second now and talk about some of the race-specific details that this event has in store for us?
Sure, let's do that. All right, so we've got two cars out here today for our fans, new fans tuning in. You've got the Grand Sport class, the GS class, the Mustang FR 500S. And also out there we had the Sport Tuner class, the STs. That would be the Global Mazda MX-5 Cup. New to iRacing and an awful lot of fun. 2.5 hours today. That's how long we'll be running. That is going to involve a driver swap. If a driver, if any of these guys out here running solo efforts, Bill, they're only going to get half the points in the team standings. But 2.5 hours. We're expecting 2 pit stops. You're gonna have to with only 65% fuel for the MX-5s and 70% for the Mustangs. It does look like a 2-pit strategy is going to be the way to go. Full course cautions are on. That will certainly play into the strategy. Also, we've seen them before, and we know how they will reset the field, and they take their time to get everybody back in order. So When you come in and when those caution flags fall, we'll play into everyone's strategy today. We've got a beautiful day out here, late afternoon here at the Glen. 83 degrees, ambient temperature, 87 degrees on the track. A little sticky, 60% humidity today, Bill, but right now it looks like everybody's turning some pretty fast laps. I think most of these guys are pretty dialed in and looking forward to getting the green flag here.
And talking about fast laps, let's go ahead and put the camera. You see it right there that's the car sitting on the pole, car number 38, currently being driven by Patrick Bieri. That's the Extreme Motorsports 2. And surprisingly, Sean, they've got that car on the pole right now, and it looks like they're going to be able to hold that as qualifying's close to being done. That's nice to see them out in front of that Busch Fink Blue team that has been so dominant.
Yeah, Extreme Motorsports looking like the car to beat today, and they get to start. They're at the front, and the trip down into the 90 here, when you go across the start-finish line, a lot can be decided there. That's pretty tricky on cold tires. Definitely want to get some heat in these tires, and that, like I said, that first turn, pretty tricky here for the start of the race. Bieri, if he gets away clean, gets up through the S's, really cleaning up that straight really fast. I'll tell you what, that's a good position to be in to start a race.
And of course, that number 38 car is piloted by Patrick Bieri. We know he's fast. And then Jeff Jacobs, who is a previous champion, always seems to find himself as the co-driver with somebody with a lot of talent. That's nicely done. He's got a good agent out there. Let's take a look at another car that's out there right now, and that's the Busch Fink Blue machine. That's currently running number 2 in qualifying right now. That's going to be piloted by S-House, of course, and James King. We talked about them. They're just a little bit off pace, but they've been tough all year.
Yeah, they've been very formidable this season, and I look for them to certainly be in the mix before this race is over. This track, there are a lot of opportunities here, a lot of drafting. How you work in the draft is going to be so important today. A lot of great passing opportunities. They keep the car clean and on track. They'll be right there at the end because drafting, again, lends to some really, really close racing and a lot of opportunities for great passing.
Now, right now, only the Mustangs are out there because the other class is already qualified. We have a pretty healthy field of them. Looks like about 11 MX-5s in with us today, so that's going to be good. For those people who aren't familiar with this event, there are live marshals, so there's a real possibility that we could see a full course caution. This series tries to mirror the actual 2.5 hours of the Continental Series that you see in real world racing. One thing though, Sean, with real cautions, if it's going to happen, it could happen in a passing zone. Where do you think some of the passing zones might be here on this layout?
Well, certainly after you get out through the S's, okay, and off of turn 4, down that back straight is a great passing opportunity. A lot of drafting. The Mustangs may take a little advantage of the Mazdas at some point today and use them as a pick, a little slingshot around and pick up a little bit of speed. Now, obviously, you get down into the inner loop, and that's going to be a little tricky there. You've got to get the car slowed down just enough to get a nice entry, and then, of course, through the inner loop and then out through that carousel there in 6 down into the chute. As you get into the boot out of turn 8, that's another great opportunity, but you've got to be real careful getting down into turn 9. And then, of course, we talk about the very last turn here. The last turn off into the start-finish line. If you find the right line there, and I'll tell you what, the Mazda, if you get it just right, pretty much go flat out there. The MX-5 going to be a little trickier, but you'll see a pass for the lead definitely at the last moment, right off the last turn, Bill.
And this is class racing, so we actually have 2 events going on at the same time. So you have the Grand Sport machine there in the Mustangs, and then a separate race going on between the Street Tuners and the little MX-5s. As a rule, the MX-5 seems to be a little more draft sensitive, where they'll stay together in a train a little bit more than the bigger horsepower Mustangs. But draft plays a factor for both of these classes, doesn't it, Sean?
Yeah, it really does. And part of that, the drafting strategy, of course, can lead to saving a little bit of fuel, Bill. we know a few drivers out here who seem to have mastered that and have those fuel numbers dialed in just precisely. When you go in today, I think is going to be very important. Positioning is going to be a big deal, and drafting is going to be a big part of that because, like I said, where you are in that draft, whether you're leading or following, I think you're going to see guys maybe trade off a little bit. Some of these teammates work together. If they can stay close together, that's going to be part of that strategy. So we'll see some team pitting and some team passing for a little bit of fuel saving out here today.
And these are open setups, so they're 2-driver teams. Some actually sometimes are 3-driver teams, but I think most of them today are going to be 2-driver teams. So they try to find a setup that works good for both drivers. Each driver has to put in a specific amount of time to get the bonus, to make sure that the team gets full bonus points. Gets their full points, not just half. So what a lot of teams will do is they'll either split it 50-50, but often a lot of times if you have a fast driver and then maybe not quite as quick a driver, they'll run the middle stint, and the fast driver will come in to start the event and also close out the event as well. And of course, all that is determined a lot by when the yellow flags fall. And like we said, there aren't many iRacing series that have full course, road course yellow flags. This one does, so that will change up the strategy depending on how those fall. Hopefully, Sean, we'll go green the whole way.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. That would be a nice and tidy race. We'll see. There's a couple of really good trouble spots. I talked about the first turn, the 90. Now there's a lot of room to run off and make mistake, and Elliot's already told the group that it's okay if you use it, but you got to be really careful how you get back out on the track there. The exit out of the pit's very tricky because it comes right back out on the track, Bill. That's going to be something to watch today. Yeah. There could be plenty of opportunities for yellow. Let's hope. The bus stop, the interloop, anything can happen there. If you miss your entry there, that can't be good. The runoff, it's not as far as it needs to be off to the right, because you'll find that wall if you're running at a pretty good clip in there and you miss that entry.
And the Elliot that Sean spoke of is, of course, Elliot Huffman. He is the race steward for today. He'll be watching all the drivers. The qualifying is done, so we can go ahead and call out the grid here. We're going to go ahead and start with the GS, the Grand Sports machines up there. On the front row, you have Extreme Motorsports and then Bush Fink Racing number 1. I believe that is going to be actually the blue team, is how I see it labeled up there. Then we have another Bush Fink Racing team. That's and then in the second row, Slow Johnson. Good to see that Slow Johnson up there so far. Flying Tortoise in row 3. Outside of them, Extreme Motorsports. And of course, we'll be naming all the drivers as these go along. In the 7th spot, Mama Jean Racing. Good to see that Mama Jean's back here for another trip around this circuit. 49 Motorsports is your fastest MX-5 machine there. Team Potato also in that ST class. And then Asbury Motorsports rounding out the 10th position. Sean, what do you got for the rest of the grid?
All right, Bill, the rest of the grid. Here we go. And in the Asbury Motorsports, number 75 and 11th. And row 6, outside of that, that's going to be Asbury Motorsports, number 74. Progression Racing, Australia, 13th. 49 Motorsports C, 14th. Team SCUM, I'm sorry, Bill, 15th. Heat and Bake Racing, 16th. 17th, Mama Jean Racing, and 18th, iRacing Today Motorsports in the GS class. They will be starting on point there.
That was Team Scum, I guess, is what we're gonna. That was.
That one caught me off guard, Bill.
We never like to insult the names of the teams, but I mean, when you spell it that way, that's what you get. Let's take a second now. We've talked about the teams. Let's go ahead and give you some of the drivers that are behind the wheel right now. So let's look on the pole. We talked about Extreme Motorsports number 2. Well, that's going to be started out there by Jeff Jacobs. He's going to open up. He's not going to Patrick Bieri. He's going to show up a little bit later. And then down there for you, Sean, in that 49 Motorsports machine, that's Cy Andra. He's always quick. Nice to see him out here today. Let's see who he is teamed up with. He's going to be teamed. Oh, Deuce Allen is going to be his teammate. So there's a tough combination. Yeah,
we've got Cy and Deuce in the same car today, and Cy looked really good in practice earlier today. And I'll tell you what, he's in a great spot to start this race. That's where you want to be Hopefully, none of the Mustangs in front of him get out of shape. If they do, it could be interesting for these Mazdas as they catch up to that field. Hopefully, they make a clean break, and these guys can make a clean break behind him. But Cy, definitely the driver to watch today. Been awful fast. Let's see what he can do.
And behind them, right outside, is Giuseppe Annucci running there for Team Potato. Let's go back up to the Mustangs here. They're about to go green, I believe, here pretty soon. Let's look at that team driver out there in the outside. We talked about Jeff Jacobs. So James Kings is behind the wheel there for Bushfink Racing Blue. And, of course, he's teamed up with Mika Eshouse, who certainly will be doing the lion's work of the lion's share behind the wheel there. So there's your top two drivers on the front row of each squad. There's a little bit of gap they give here, Sean, before they go green. Try to separate these classes out a bit to avoid trouble.
Yeah, and the Mazdas are just now coming out of the boot. And the Mustangs are already making their way into the next to the last turn. So pretty good spacing between these two fields. Let's watch the trip down into the first turn.
And hopefully we're looking for everything to be kept clean. It's 2.5 hours to go. There's no reason you can't win it in the first turn, but you can certainly lose it. So I have a bunch of Mustangs up in front, and we're waiting for that one pace car Mustang to pull off, and he does. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and Jeff Jacobs leads Extreme Motorsports 2 into the first corner. James King going to dive into second there for Bushfink Racing Blue. Third and fourth is Mike Burgett there, and Craig Williams. What do you got for the ST, Sean?
Cyandra breaks away down into turn one. They go 4 wide.
Oh, my goodness.
Just behind him. Iannucci gets away clean. Andrew gets a nice run off the turn. Clips the grass just a little bit coming up through the S's. Here he goes. Already getting a nice breakaway there from Iannucci.
Those MX-5s looks like a pinata full of bees going down the front straight. The Mustangs were much more well-behaved. Look at them as they start to string out a bit.
A little bit, just a bit, yeah, but everybody got through clean. That was a really nice start for the Street Tuners.
Okay, let's go back up front, and since these fields are so small, we can go ahead and run all 8 down. Jeff Jacobs out in front for Extreme Motorsports, being pestered by James King in Bushfink Racing Blue. They run 1-2. A little bit of a gap there. Mike Burgett there in Extreme Motorsports number 1. That's car number 32, being challenged by Craig Williams in Team Bushfink Red. Williams still looking at him. I expect that pass to be made pretty soon. Dropping back to 5th position is Flying Tortoise, car number 95 by Russell Ruddick. Then the final 3 drivers. Chad Dalton in car number 77, racing for iRacing Today Motorsports. George Johnson, of course, for Slow Johnson Racing, running in 7th position overall. And then finally, the Mama Jean entry driven by Scott Brooks, running in 8th. Sean, what do you got up for your guys?
Cyandra still your leader. Oh, maybe just a little bit of connection trouble there for Cy. I saw him bounce out on my screen. Iannucci still right behind him. Travis Schwenke has now closed the gap just a bit, but they are nose to tail in the Mazdas right now, Bill. Here they come now, getting ready to go into turn 10. Onward to 11. Here we go. Iannucci is still in the lead. Let's look at this run through. All the way out to the wall, almost. You got to be so careful through there, but he's on the power. Goes across the line, still the leader. Got some heat in the tires now. It's time to dig.
Schwenke in second, and then, of course, it's Fittis in running in 4th position there for Progressive Racing Australia. Travis Schwenke running in 3rd. My apologies. Annucci in 2nd. And Annucci now starting to make a little look on Andra. Here he goes.
Side by side, uphill from the S's. They're coming off just the exit there, and it's time for a run side by side. Watch the draft coming just behind him. Here comes Gene Fitties. He's caught it.
There they go through the inner loop. Everyone negotiates that okay, and we have a new leader up in front. It's Giuseppe Iannucci for Team Potato.
Pretty tame start, to be honest, Bill. They're settling in here and settling in really nice. We got a slide just behind. Contact at the back of the field.
That's Jeroen Ursum got collected. Poor Al Heaton. Ursum had the car loose, and then he corrected it. Heaton thought he was going to spin to the inside, and then Ursum's car bit. You can see right here, bit and went right into Al.
Boy, that was a tough break there, Jeroen. The car just started to break away on him.
UB Al Heaton here as we're on board. Look ahead now. You can see that white and yellow car of Mama Jean Racing start to slide. Certainly it's going to curve into the inside, but no, it comes back around.
It snapped on him. He just... It hit a spot.
It did.
It hit a spot in the asphalt there and just turned it. That's a tough break for Jeroen. Mama Jean Racing. You don't get a fast repair here, Bill.
Nope.
That's ouch.
That's a tough break. I think if they would have been avoid contact, both of them would have been able to drive on. I don't think Jeroen. Another spin. Oh, Saya spun it from second position, and he put it in the wall.
Yeah, let's catch it on the replay real quick. Looks like Saya had gotten passed by Iannucci and loses it coming off the turn. Car just stepped away from him into that hard inside barrier, bends the nose of the machine up.
That looks
Finally
like
gets it back on track and into the pit.
Looked like that was in between 10 and 11 there, I think. Just that's a tough break. That's some early attrition.
Yeah, and our pole sitter lead car there got passed by Iannucci, and Iannucci now off to the races. Literally, he's now got a little bit of a gap there on Schwenke. Schwenke hanging in there, but Team Potato NA North America, they're in the lead, Bill.
Let's look at fourth position. Let's go back to Fittis back there, running in 12th right now, being challenged. It's Zabo being challenged by Fittis. Zabo not really getting to going much here.
Yeah, Zabo seems to be off to a bit of a slow start, but Fittis looking to take advantage of that. Progression Racing Australia off to a great start today. The car looks fast. He's getting a run on Zabo here. Going to look for an opportunity to pass. Don't know if he's going to get it maybe to the inside. No, he's going to stay in line.
Okay, looks like that maybe settled down a bit. Let's go back up to the Mustangs here. And they are very well behaved. Right now, it's still Extreme Motorsports 2. That's Jeff Jacobs behind the wheel. And James King just looking at him in Bushfink blue. Just watching them. They all stay in line. 1, 2. A little bit farther back to Michael Burgett. Still Extreme Motorsports 1. That's the order they've been running it all the time. And Craig Williamson 4th in the Bushfink red machine. Look at them. They're all just 1, 2, 3, 4. A little farther back to Russell Ruddock for Flying Tortoise. Russell, of course, just trying to stay in there to give the car clean over to Travis Davis, his partner. So there's your top 5. A little different. Not quite the excitement that we have over there in the ST class.
The excitement's mounting. I'm still watching Gene Fittis here work on Thomas Zabo. And as they get ready to head up the back straight here, Fittis maybe looks again and maybe try and make a pass as they head into the inner loop. We'll see here if he can pick up the draft here of Zabo and get around him. He tried to pull it off there in turn 9. Couldn't quite do it when we were away following the Mustangs there, and not able quite to close on him there in the back straight, but still a good battle between those two. Schwenke's closed the gap up just up ahead there on Iannucci, and Iannucci almost goes all the way off there. Ooh, coming off the 6, that car was really wide. He's able to hang on to it, but here comes Schwenke.
Now, veterans of viewers who've been familiar with the series will understand that maybe leading is not always the most smart thing to do. Even though these guys all start with the same amount of fuel and it's open setups, there's no reason why you wouldn't start with a full tank. You don't necessarily burn the same amount of fuel, especially in these little MX-5s. If you can get behind somebody like Szabo's doing right now and just follow behind, when it does come in to make those pit stops, if you burn less, you have to take on less.
Exactly, and well, right now looks like Szabo and Schwenke might be guys, certainly benefactors of saving just a touch of fuel. Iannucci up there front, he's digging hard, using more fuel, obviously. And those drivers behind him trying to take advantage of that little hole he's cutting in the air. Seems to be paying off here so far.
Let's go to the Mustangs. Second position for the Mustangs as we have a little pass here for the lead. Craig Williams is going to move up for second position. Craig Williams is going to move up into second. Got around James King for Bushfink Racing Blue. That's a pair of Bushfink drivers. Oh, and Williams is not done yet. Williams is back. He was in third position and said, okay, I've been waiting back here long enough. Now he's got Jeff Jacobs, Extreme Motorsports, in mind. Let's stay on this a minute there, because I think Williams all of a sudden has really decided to put the gas down.
Yeah, he almost gave him the business there. That was really, really close. It's really kind of set up well here, and really be careful getting back on the power, because the car just wants to shoot around on you. Everybody gets through clean. There's a little bit of fuel saving going on there too, Bill. 4 more cars just driving in a line and playing it clean here.
So basically, you have 2 sets of quartets racing each other here. You got the Iannucci, Schwenke, Szabo, and Fittis in that quartet for the MX-5s, and then up here in front you got Jacobs, Williams, King, and Burgett running for the Mustangs.
Yeah, and Iannucci right now looks very smooth, Bill. He's making it look easy. This track, it's familiar, but it's not easy. It presents many challenges, and Iannucci here, Team Potato, they are taking care of it. Oh, battle behind. Schwenke under threat right now from Szabo.
I think Schwenke says there's 2 hours and 19 minutes to go. Go ahead, Thomas.
Take it. You can have it. Szabo looked like he had to lift just a bit. The car looked a little loose.
Those are a pair of teammates there for Asbury Motorsports. That's, of course, team number 74. The one that Szabo's racing, that's the one that is leading in the points. Schwenke, of course, in team car number 75. Give that a shout out to Asbury Motorsports, as they've given up on their, what I used to call the helicopter propeller on the front end, on the hood and trunk of their car. They have a new paint scheme now. I like it.
Yeah, the new paint scheme certainly looks good. We're missing something, Bill. Got to pass for a lead up front.
Looking at it now, that Craig Williams has taken over the lead. We thought that was going to happen. Jacobs has now dropped back into second, so a new leader in the Mustangs.
All right, so Bushfink in the lead. Williams putting the move on Jeff Jacobs. Maybe Jacobs now wants to save a little bit of fuel. He's been up there leading for a while. Williams going to throw down a couple of hot laps here, Bill.
It was a nice, easy pass. He got it done going into the inner loop, and there wasn't much protest put on by Jacobs.
Russell Ruddock. I'm sorry, we hated to bust in there. Russell Ruddock back here battling with the 77 of Chad Dalton.
Dalton with a great drive off the corner now. Let's see if Dalton decides to get this done. Yeah, Dalton's been back there watching Ruddock for quite a while. They're running a pretty good pace. That's a battle for 5th.
Yeah, they were side by side just a moment ago. Heading into 11 now.
Behind them, we don't need to go there because that's a good battle, but behind them, as we see now, we'll stay on this a little bit, as that's Ruddock kind of puts the car right in the middle of the track. Dalton trying to look for somewhere to go. Not going to be able to done there. They are about almost 3 seconds ahead of George Johnson. Johnson had a great qualifying run, qualified 4th, has dropped back into 7th position.
Okay, here those two come up the back straight. Ruddock making the car a little wide here. Maybe
He
just
definitely
to pick
is.
them off.
I
Now
think
they're side by side.
I think Dalton is definitely faster. I think he knows he's faster, but just not able to get around him.
Yeah, wasn't able to pull the move off. They make a safe trip through the inner loop. Giuseppe Iannucci still in the lead back here in the STs.
I think he has hopes of maybe breaking the draft. He's got it up to about 0.8 of a second. I just don't think that's far enough. Zabel now has got around Schwenke and Fittis, so Zabel could really start putting the pedal down and see if he can run down.
Ooh, and I think Zabel's caught the tail end of his draft because Zabel's closing quick here. Zabel got a really nice run up the back straight. Gets a really nice trip through, too.
And the bad news for Iannucci, not only does Zabel catch up, but he also brings along the rest of his friends with him. So that's going to be a 4-car party again.
Oh, Iannucci
Oh,
going
my
wide.
goodness.
Ooh.
Track boundaries, smack boundaries. Who cares about those? Bye.
Exploring the boundaries of the track, as I like to say.
Pushing the envelope.
Yes, sir. Nothing wrong with that. Car's just so hard to hang on to. You get off into the grass. It's not easy to bring back from that. Those four still battling tooth and nail since the very beginning of this race, Bill.
Well, here's some interesting news. Look back at the driver's 17th overall, Cy Andra. He's brought that car back out, and he's still on the lead lap. So while you would think being a minute and a half behind the Mustang leaders and about a whole minute behind the MX-5's leaders, if there's a yellow flag showing, a full course yellow, that gets him right back in the hunt.
It does. And you know, I'm looking at the car now. Damage not too bad. Now, we certainly don't know how it's handling. Not able to check in with Cy. Now, the incident happened early. How does this affect their fuel strategy? Hard to say right now, but a yellow flag could certainly help them if we get one and they can manage to hang on here to this lead lap. They're in great shape.
The good news is he kind of nosed it in at a nice straight angle, so he banged it back nice and flush, kept the car straight at least up in front. So we'll see how that plays out.
Hopefully not having any trouble with the cooling. That would be my one concern.
And of course, these cars are so draft dependent that if a yellow flag did come out and he was able to get in with the group, he could run with them, and then who knows what could happen. Now look at this. Fittis making a move in the MX-5s. Just looking, Schwenke tries to keep that inside line as they go through the inner loop. Those four cars just running together, 1, 2, 3, 4. Poor Iannucci, though, doing all the work. I got to expect this first pit stop that he's gonna pay the price for doing all the work up front.
Well, checking back on the Mustangs, our leader Craig Williams, he is still got a commanding lead here in first. He is going to be catching Cy Andra really soon, so Cy going to have to watch it in his mirror and be careful as they start to close up on him. But he also may be able to use a little bit of that to his advantage when they get by and get a little drafting help there for just a moment. Let's see where they catch him.
Well, I always try to tuck in behind those Mustangs. I think they just laugh at me when what are you trying to do, get a little draft from us? They're gone, at least they're gone so fast on me. What's interesting is the MX-5s, during some of these twisty sections, they can hold their own with the bigger, heavier Mustangs, but when it's time to put the horsepower, when it's time to use that big American-made engine, that's where things start to shake out differently.
Yeah, well, you know, the MX-5 does have a couple of cornering advantages here because of its power, or lack thereof, compared to the Mustang. They can hit some of these turns flat out, quite honestly, and or have to lift very, very little and not get under braking, where the Mustang may actually have to get under braking. So that is a big advantage when we talk about cornering and you know, carrying your momentum through a turn.
There are a couple drivers that are really beginning to annoy me now. I'm going to give two of them. One of them is the guy driving car number 89 in the MX-5. It's Gene Fittis. He keeps hinting that he's going to go around Schwenke, but he never really does it. So it's like the boy who cried wolf. Wolf, wolf, but there's no wolf. Here he goes again. This isn't going to happen as we look at him just kind of peek there. Maybe Schwenke has ideas here. Nope. Oh, nope.
Yes, sir. That is not the place you want to really try and pull off a pass. I've got to be honest. It rarely ever works out well, Bill.
Fittis is just up there just being annoying like a little sister. If Schwenke has a little sister, that's what he's got right now. Gene Fittis behind him. Just, what you doing now? What you doing now? Just pestering him.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me.
I'm not touching you. That's what Fittis is saying. I'm not touching you. Let's drop back a little bit. We haven't talked about Richard Losper running in the 426 machine, running in 5th position overall, all by himself out there. A little bit. Houston is behind him. Chris Houston is behind him.
Yeah, and those two working together just a little bit. Houston's starting to close the gap just a bit on Richard. Richard off to a good start. Top 5, not a bad deal. Car's running well, still clean. Houston coming quick. Picking up some draft here.
Just back there, running 5th and 6th, of course. No reason to be too crazy right now with pit stops ahead of us.
Yeah, the key to endurance racing, we talk about it all the time, take care of the car. Again, we don't have any fast repairs. You don't get a break here today. Got to run what you brought and walk away with it. And you want to bring it home in the same condition you brought it in with. So important.
Let's follow up.
Losper getting a really nice trip there off the last turn.
We'll stay on this battle. No need to go anywhere else, but we talked about Cy Ander. He did a great job of letting all 4 Mustangs go by. Did not lose a lot of momentum.
See, you had to play. He played that just right. That's the key. Don't disrupt your line too much. Hope they catch you in the right spot. And hang on for just a second. Play with that air. Enjoy it.
Well, let's jump back to Cy right now because I apologize. Okay, Zabo. Oh, here we go. We're looking at Zabo taking a little peek, and he got trying to pass. And did he get the lead? I don't believe. Yes, he did.
Zabo gets it away.
So new MX-5 leader. We're gonna watch that again on replay.
Yeah, let's pick that up real quick. See that move Zabo made there on Iannucci. Comes up around him. Gets a little help from behind, too. And just first to the bus stop there, Bill. He makes it there first and able to get through.
Yep. And honestly, I don't know if that's probably not the best thing to happen to Giuseppe there, to let Zabo do a little bit of the work. He'd been out there doing it for 22 minutes.
Yeah, but Giuseppe well, doesn't look like he's playing very nice with him. He's very close. Maybe that's just where he wants to keep the car and get maximum draft opportunity out of it. He's been up there digging really hard for a while. So,
and here comes, I think Fittis has now finally had enough.
To the inside, there goes Fittis.
I think, oh boy, that car was really loose on him. He was able to do a good job. I think that Gene was a little bit worried that Travis Schwenke was going to lose touch now that we have Zabo out in front. I think Fittis said, you know what, I feel more comfortable in 3rd trying to hang on to the back of Iannucci. Because Zabo is now beginning to pick him up and put him down.
Yes, he is. Comes really wide out of the first turn. Again, that is okay. That was deemed by race control to be acceptable. Gets a really nice wide run through there. If you carry the momentum just right, you got to get on track at just the right moment. If you clip that grass, it's not going to be pretty. But here comes Iannucci. He's caught as Zabo's draft, Bill. He's going to make a move to the inside. Takes it away through the inner loop. Can he hang on? Nice move by Giuseppe Iannucci for the lead.
And happy to see that is Gene Fittis, because those two guys up front, Zabo and Iannucci, if they were to team up, they had come real close to breaking the draft on Gene Fittis. Fittis now back in the hunt, only about a half second behind Szabo in second.
Yeah, I had the feeling Giuseppe wasn't very happy with pushing the lead.
Well, it must be fun to be out front, but he's going to have to pay for it when it's time to get fuel, because he'll probably have to be coming in first. Meanwhile, the Mustangs have kind of stretched out a little bit. Craig Williams, once he came up from third and got around everybody for Team Bushfink Red, he's starting to pull away. He's got almost a 2-second lead now on Jeff Jacobs. Jacobs for Extreme Motorsports 2. James King running in third, doing a good job hanging in there, but they have really distanced themselves from Michael Burgett. Extreme Motorsports 1 has fallen way off the pace. And then we'll go back a little bit farther. It's the same battle back here. Dalton and Ruddick, they've been running 5-6 for the whole time. I believe Dalton, though, was chasing, so I think Dalton now has got around. Check my notes and make sure I have that correct. Yes, I do. That was a pass that was finally made. George Johnson running in 7th, and Scott Brooks bringing up the tail of the Mustang. Thanks.
Well, up here with the Mazdas, Iannucci started to open things up just a bit, but just like they've done for the last 12 laps, Bill, everybody seems to gather it all back up here when we get to the back straight. Seem to come together. I love this new MX-5. Here he goes.
Szabo.
Szabo looking to make another move, and boy, he gets around him quick. Slingshot. Just like Talladega, baby.
Yeah. Fittis back there in what we like to call a GSRC, the popcorn position, just watching the show that Iannucci and Szabo is putting on as they're just about finishing up the first half hour. I like what Fittis is doing. Boy, he's back there just keeping the car steady.
Bill, and the pace that these leaders are putting down now. The last lap for Iannucci at 2:09.9. Qualifying, if I remember correctly, what was the qualifying top lap? I think was 2:09.5. And we're still turning 2:09.9s, 12 laps in on this run.
And more on Fittis. I believe he's racing for Progressive Racing Australia. I think he's soloing this today. I don't see a teammate for him. You know, for Progressive Racing, maybe get Flo to come in and race with him. Help him out a little bit. But he's out there all by himself right now.
Well, she does seem to be capable of a great
She can do a lot of stuff, yes.
We might have to ask him if we can get him on the podium. This is a very tight battle up here. Here comes Iannucci. I think he's already established he likes being up front. Is he going to try and make a move to the inside? Oh. A little bump and run maybe. Here comes Fittis.
Oh, Fittis gives a little touch to Iannucci. Iannucci gave a little bump to Szabo, and then Fittis said, "Okay, I see how that's done."
And all that really did for Szabo was just kind of give him a little more momentum. And he handled it very nice.
Well, Iannucci gave his bump on the straight. Fittis gave his just entering turn 1. I don't know if that was quite as appreciated by Iannucci.
But you know what we kept talking about here, the trip up the back straight. Everybody seems to kind of gather it all back up. I've been very impressed with the way everybody is getting through that inner loop today. That's been a nice clean trip through there so far, and that's a spot where you can lose a lot of time, Bill. You can also gain a lot of time if you find that just perfect line through there.
Going to P2 Mustangs as we're looking here. Look at this battle. This is Jacobs for Extreme Motorsports 2. James King going to the inside. I think he's going to get it done as they head up into the inner loop. King will have the preferred position. I'll be surprised if Jacobs puts up a battle. He surrenders it. King moves up into second position for Bushfink Blue.
Yeah, too early in this race to really to dispute that position, that move for position right there. Plenty of time to just ride in the draft a little bit here, get it done. That is a smart move, and good thinking, and honestly, good camaraderie out there on the track. That could have ended much differently if somebody didn't have their head in the game, Bill.
The voice of race control, we talked about him earlier, Elliot Hoffman, coming over the mics to all the drivers, trying just to follow up on that little bit of bump we saw there from Szabo, Iannucci, and Fittis, saying, let's all behave, it's still early.
Yes. Yeah.
Apparently.
Reminders always help.
Yeah. I have a hunch maybe there might have been a little complaining going on there.
Well, we got no time for complaining today. Too much good racing going on out here.
What has happened, though, if you go back to the MX-5s now real quick, we talk about Fittis. We talked about him making that move around Schwenke to get up into third because I thought he was a little bit worried that he would lose touch. And here's a pass for the lead up in front. There goes Iannucci.
The battle continues.
Let's see if Fittis decides to come in there. He can have this if he wants it. I think this time he says, I'm going to jump in here as well.
Oh, yeah, and Szabo gets out of it, lets him go.
Oh!
Fittis has to check up. Szabo gets right up on him.
Fittis really had to get off the gas to keep off the tail of Iannucci. I thought he was going to run right up into him as they went through the inner loop. But we talked about Fittis making a move. He's not done yet, but he's looking now to take the lead, I think.
Yeah, I think Fittis was on the gas and on the brakes all at the same time. Wow, Fittis showing a lot of fight today, Bill.
But what has happened is he's left. Szabo now has a 1.2 second lead on Schwenke, who's got to hope that those guys keep battling, or Schwenke's going to lose touch. The good news for Fittis is he has no partner, so sometimes you race a little more conservatively if you know you're responsible to turn over a clean car to your buddy. He's out there all by himself. He only has himself to blame, and depending on how hard on himself he is, he can race aggressively.
Well, he's definitely racing hard and looking good so far. When you know you're only looking forward to half points, you might as well go for it all and get the max out of it. So, great run here for Fittis to start this race. Coming around for lap 15 here in just a moment.
Well, how it really works, and it's really a smart way they do it, it's half points for the team championship, but he will get full points for himself. They allow the drivers to solo and still get full points, but if you're going to race as a team, they don't want you out there soloing because that just doesn't seem fair. So Progressive's only going to get half points as a team, but Fittis is out there looking to get the big prize today.
Well, and of course, when you're driving solo, your pit strategy might be just a bit different to the rest of the guys too. You obviously, you're not dependent on fair share making a move. Fittis making a move for the lead here.
There it is.
Comes up on the outside of Iannucci, heading down the back stretch. Here we go. Fittis takes it away. Ooh, a lot of momentum there.
Maybe did he get it done? He did.
Did he give up, Bill?
Yeah.
Boy, he didn't want any part of it. Didn't look like it anyway. Szabo gets around too. But Gene Fittis is going to take over as your leader.
Back there, happy to see this, is Travis Schwenke, who's just able to hang on to the back of these three guys barely. The more they battle.
Yeah, he's able to just stay on to the tail end of that draft. And exactly when we get into these straightaways, it certainly benefits him. He's not that he's running bad. He's just being cautious and taking care of the car. He's right where he wants to be. Fittis gets it wide off the turn.
Let's see what Szabo has in mind here.
Here he comes. Here comes Szabo. Looking to the inside. He backs off.
Just didn't think he had the kind of run that he would have liked. He was almost too close coming off corner exit to get any momentum there. Pulled out early.
Yeah, but you have to get off the power into that turn, Bill. If you don't, it's not going to end well, obviously. Here, though, you can really crank on it. The MX-5 almost flat out through here. Can't quite go flat out here, but boy, if you hit that entry just right, it slides out to the wall. Get a nice run up to the start-finish line. Fittis, the leader
And there you
in
can
the
see,
ST class.
You can see Zabel, that blue car in the very back, just trying to hang on with him. Able to hang in there as we ride on board with Iannucci right now, looking ahead at Zabel. This is from third place. In fact, you might be able to catch in the rear view mirror. Now, I guess the angle isn't quite right to see the cars behind you.
There we go. We're on board with Iannucci there on screen. He's now in that popcorn position after being up front for so much of this race. Zabel making a move up in front of him. Looking to the inside. There it is. Zabel going to take it now. Zabel back to the lead. Gene Fittis back to second. Iannucci just got that front row ticket to the show there, Bill.
Just watching the action. Happy to do so, I think, after leading for so many laps early on.
And Schwenke's lost absolutely nothing. Mr. Cool Customer back there in fourth, but they're still battling. Iannucci battling, trying to take the position away from Fitties. They were all over each other. Oh, Fitties gets wide of the wall. Oh.
I think he might have caught it. I'm not sure.
They're still battling, Bill. We're going to go with the replay here in just a moment. But those two were still slugging it out. Let's look at the replay.
Oh,
here.
yeah. He got it, and Iannucci did not get into him. Iannucci did a good job of getting out of the way, but Fittis pancaked it in.
Boy, and all this has done is allowed our leader, our new leader, Tom Hazabo, to just kind of get away from him. Iannucci, that car was all the way off in the grass there at one point, Bill, and he still manages to gather it up enough to stay in second place. Gene Fitties, our former leader there, slotted back to third.
Let's go to second place in the Mustangs, James King. They have some traffic now. They're getting around Losper and Houston here. Now, third place, this is Jeff Jacobs. They managed to negotiate those drivers. You know, we talked about Losper and Houston before, battling for fifth in that class. But what has happened there is King got through him really easy. Jacobs is beginning to lose touch now with the second place driver of James King for Busch Fink Racing Blue.
Yeah, they do get around clean. A lot of smart drivers in that pack. Everybody trying to get along. Losper gets a really nice run off the turn. I love it. It's a great feeling when that car goes all the way out to the wall, Bill, and you just miss it. It's a great feeling. It's an exasperating feeling.
You know, we have a 2.5 hour race. Where are we going, Director? We're going to Iannucci.
Yeah, they still trading paint up here. Iannucci makes the pass on Sabo. He's back in the lead. Well, don't say the Mazdas aren't battling, Bill. Plenty of battling going on here. So, you know, honestly, I think the fourth position might be the popcorn position right now because
I do too.
I think Schwenke has really had the best seat in the house.
Well, yeah, he was back there watching all the nonsense there, and Fittis came very, very close to getting into the back of Iannucci and taking both of those guys out. Looking at Fittis' car, his right side is pretty damaged. Obviously not enough to have him drop out of here, but I'm not sure what straight line speed he would have by himself. Quick enough, though, to hang on to the toe. What I would like to do with a 2.5 hour race is try to get to some of these guys real quick if those leaders would behave. Maybe we can go back and look at Team Scum here. Car number 8 of 855, Joe McDonald. Racing back there. Let's see if Joe has has a partner. Nope. He's all by himself today. He's running in 6th, actually 7th overall. Then there's the 49 Motorsports we know about, Cy Andra. That's the last car out there running. Oh no, I correct myself. Al Heaton is still racing.
Yeah, Al Heaton still in the field. Heaton Bake Racing out there fighting the good fight. Got some pretty good front end damage on the car, though. Probably not handling as well as they would like it to be, but they're still out here and, still on the same lap. Again, a caution could change all of that.
I tell you, Al Heaton for Heaton Bake. He needs to team up with Michael Baker. Get Heat and Baker out there.
Heat and Baker. Love that paint scheme on the Heat and Bake machine.
Well, we're past the half hour mark now, well into with an hour and 52 to go.
Oh, we're just clicking this one right off, Bill. The four Mazdas are still battling. Update there.
Yeah.
It's Fiddy's almost making contact with Tomasapo. Boy, they had just gotten out of the inner loop, and Fiddy's getting a little impatient. Got right up on the rear bumper of Szabo. Now he's battling him down into the chute.
Honestly, I'm gonna send Gene Fittis a little, like maybe some candy in the mail or something, because he is really making this race exciting.
Yes, he is, and
Yeah.
it seems that every time someone in front of him has made a mistake, he's been able to capitalize on that. So far, Szabo keeping it pretty clean. Iannucci up there still running really hard. I'll tell you what, honestly, Iannucci's probably burned more fuel than anybody right now, in my estimation, Bill. He seems to be the guy that's probably been driving the hardest.
What's interesting, Sean, is we talked about maybe he put in his time up front and wanted to sit back. Obviously not the case. He likes to be out in front.
Yeah, and you know, that could be set up too. That car might just be much better in the clean air, and that dirty air probably not a good thing.
We'll see what it costs him when he comes into pit.
Richard Losper is under attack here from Chad Dalton. Got it a little mixed there. 4 cars, 2 Mazdas, 2 Mustangs, Bill.
Dalton running 5th in the Mustangs. Losper running 5th in the MX-5s, and Dalton couldn't get around him there. Now he gets a spot.
Yeah, Richard wasn't real ready to give that up. Driving his line, though, you know, hats off to Richard. He's trying to just drive his line through there, and it's up to those Mustangs to kind of navigate their way through. It's one of the great things that makes this series so awesome, Bill, is how well the MX-5 and the Mustang actually pair up. Something's happened to our leader, Iannucci. He's off pace. I'm seeing damage on the car.
Looks like outside of 1, is that where that was? No, he's on the straightaway. Oh, he got tagged. He got tagged by Szabo.
Szabo catches just a little bit of the right rear.
Oh.
And it nosedived him right into that fence.
Hoffman is looking at it. Elliot Hoffman is looking at it right at this very minute, racing.
Boy, and he had to take direct tow right off the track. That could have cost so much time.
I'm going to go back and take
On
another
board
look
with
at it.
Szabo,
Because,
yeah.
This.
Let's look at it from this angle here. We're back live. I'm sorry. We did look at it there real quick, but it was just a little bit of contact.
See,
and
what happened was, though, Sean, I think Szabo had a pass lined up on Iannucci, but then all of a sudden, Mr. Excitement, Gene Fittis took the run from 3rd position, and I think maybe it broke Szabo's concentration where he couldn't leave as much room. He couldn't go as wide around Iannucci as he wanted to because all of a sudden he had Fittis to his right. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of Johnny Cochran there for Szabo.
Well, Fittis is actually trying to take the lead from Szabo. Looks to the inside. He gets it.
Well, I think you're a little bit behind. I think you might be still on replay there, Sean.
My bad.
That's all right. Because Fittis,
Fittis up to the lead, though. Got Craig Williams coming around him. Ooh, that was close.
So if I was a race steward on this, I could understand how. And here comes Szabo now. Look at, oh man, he almost puts it in the wall.
Here comes Schwenke.
I don't think Schwenke really wants to be up here in this. They're kind of forcing him to get into the mix.
Yeah, he's been back there chilling out this whole time, and now it's like, oh, geez, I got to race now. No, I take that back. He's been racing just fine, actually. He's up here with Fittis, though, now getting ready to battle it out with him. He's definitely caught Fittis' draft.
But in defense of Szabo, I think Szabo was going to make a move on the right-hand side, the inside of Iannucci, and he had it lined up, and then I think he was surprised to see Fittis had a run from either farther back. And I think that kind of scared him, and then he ended up clipping Iannucci. That would be, at least if I went to trial, that would be my defense.
You know, Bill, I only got a chance to watch it a couple times, but I got to be honest with you, it was just looked like exactly what you just said. He got a run on him and not able to get the car just slowed up enough to avoid just a little bit of contact.
Because you have to take in the reputation of the driver and the skill level of the driver. And I've seen Zabel race enough to know that he just doesn't do that. That's not his mode of doing things. So we'll see how that plays out. Luckily, we're just here to give our opinions. We don't actually have to make the decision.
Oh, Fitty's doing a good job there up front. Also doing a good job of navigating the Ford Mustang traffic. Got another visitor here just behind him. James King making his way around. A little more traffic just behind there. Schwenke letting let's see who Schwenke let by. That was Jeff Jacobs just getting by there. Schwenke coming to the inside as they head up through the S's.
And we talked about Fittis being the little sister, the annoying little sister. And actually what that did was it caused a little bit of problem, and he ended up getting rid of one of his competitors with Iannucci having trouble. Just from Fittis being annoying. He didn't do anything wrong, but Iannucci now, and let's follow up, make sure he is done, but I believe, he's in the pits.
Oh! Fittis is off! Coming out of the inner loop. Car gets loose and into the barrier. Into the tire barrier goes Gene Fittis. A little bit of left front damage. Let's check the replay. Think he missed his entry there just a bit, Bill.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, the exit.
Well, it was a slow bang.
He got a bit much of the curve there, and then it kind of locked up and went off on him.
Well, the good news is for him, he had banged up the passenger side already, so now he's got the driver's side.
Oof. Yeah, he hit it pretty good.
The car's only 48 inches wide, so pretty soon he'll be able to get that through a 36-inch door, park it in his living room.
Yeah, maybe so.
Getting a little skinny.
Yeah, the car is definitely a little bit shorter, and the aero on that certainly out of shape. Aubergine gonna have to probably get in and get some repair. You don't know how much the temperature might be affected by that. If he has damaged that radiator in that machine in any way, shape, or form, that could be trouble.
So Sean, what does that mean for our new leader now? Who might be leading the MX-5s?
Well, that would be Travis Schwenke.
There he is!
Mr. Cool Customer himself, but he is under attack from Szabo. As they head across the start-finish line, Travis Schwenke is your new leader.
Schwenke sat back there, Travis watching everything. He saw Iannucci bite the dust. He's now seen Fittis bite the dust. He's only got Szabo to worry about. Unfortunately, with Szabo comes Sonny Ketchum. But that really won't be Travis's worry, because that's going to be on the shoulders of Deuce Allen when they turn that machine over.
Richard Losper coming in the pits. The Asbury Motorsports 426 coming on in. Will he hand off to Stevenson here?
Let me correct myself too. It's not Deuce Allen who's going to take over. It is Mick Field. So sorry, Schwenke and Field teaming up today. So Losper, the first of our drivers to make a pit stop.
Fittis also brought his car in. We are changing drivers. James Stevenson stepping in the Asbury Motorsports 426. Richard took good care of the car. They're making their stop a little bit early in my estimation, but still have plenty of left in that machine. And a hot shoe and James Stevenson getting behind the wheel.
Yeah, Losper probably turned that over close enough to the lead where Stevenson, who is a notoriously fast driver, might be able to run down those guys up front.
Looks like Fittis was able to get just a little bit of repair, a little bit of help in the pits. That car is back out. James Stevenson making his way out here on camera. Back to Fittis. You can see the front end a little bit a little bit better shape. He looks about up to speed, almost 115 miles an hour as he heads down in here into the inner loop. But he doesn't have anybody to work with, Bill. He's all out there by himself now.
Checking to see how these cars filed out here a little bit. Looks like he filed out behind most of the drivers who have yet to pit. Looking now here at well, we're still looking at Gene. Now we go to Craig Williams here running in first. He's got about a 7-second lead back to James King. These guys have stretched out a little bit, about 7 seconds. Craig Williams having a nice run. Doesn't have a lot of traffic in front of him for a little while. He's going to be clean. Now behind him, second place, James King. James King racing for Team Bushfink Blue, so we have those Bushfinks out there. Red and blue. I believe a Bushfink is a bird, is what I've been told.
You know, we've got Dalton back here in Ruddock having a nice battle. The 77 and a 95 battling it out for 5th place.
Yeah, that's been going on the entire 1 hour and 20 minutes we've been racing.
It really has, and they are still mixing it up. Both cars still look very clean, though, for mixing it up. They've done it in a very nice kind of way, Bill.
That's one of those battles Losper was also having with Houston there, and we'll see how that plays out. Now I'm looking, Sean, let's look at, he's a lap down, I believe. I was looking at Iannucci is in a battle with Stevenson, but they're not together, they're a lap apart. Stevenson is the guy I really want to keep an eye on in those MX-5s. He's out there now with fresh rubber. We'll see what kind of time he can put down. Meanwhile, the Mustangs have all spread out a little bit. Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was going to say Stevenson obviously still on his outlap. We'll get his time here shortly. He's now completing his first, or working on his first full lap. So we'll be interested to see what kind of times he's working. Going to get a little help from Iannucci here as he heads up the back straight and into the inner loop. Nice run there. Obviously got to get a little heat back in the tires. Nice trip through though, very clean.
See, I would think that Stevenson with fresh rubber would be a little faster than the guys he's trying to run down, Szabo and Schwenke. And all these laps right now, he could be gaining maybe a little bit of time. We'll see when Schwenke and Szabo come in, how they cycle through.
Yeah, Szabo and Schwenke still working together pretty well. Those cars hooked up very good, just navigating a little bit more the Mustang, that battle between Dalton and Ruddock.
Well, it got split up.
They've now split the battle, yes.
They came up on the MX-5 leaders, and Ruddock's having a hard time finding a way around these guys.
He's not going to get much of an opportunity here
a
moment. The toe, not a great place to try and make a pass. He's going to have to settle in and just back off.
And Schwenke, you have to realize, is what the last thing he wants to have happen is to lose the draft on Szabo. That could be deadly. So he's got to sacrifice anything here to make sure he hangs on. And it looks like Ruddock is going to get one, but he's not going to get the other one. That's bad news for Schwenke. Now, if I'm the Hungarian driver right now, Thomas Szabo, I'm going. See if I can get rid of that guy.
We talked earlier about the cornering ability of the cars and how much different they are. And
Iannucci. Looks like Iannucci had trouble. Either I think it was a hardware problem or just a rage problem. Looked like turn one. He was just ahead of Stevenson. And the car did look. If I ever seen a throttle stick, that's what it looks like.
Not sure. Trying to pick it up here on the replay. There's Iannucci
getting in. Here he comes.
It looks like he maybe just missed entry there. The brakes went up. Boy, Bill, maybe it was a hardware problem. That car really didn't slow up much, did it?
Nope.
Okay, we're starting to see some pit stops here, and the GS Patrick Pieri is in. Kevin Ford now in the pit. Taking tires, getting fresh rubber all the way around. Pieri making his way off now.
And we can stay on this. I just want to follow up that the Schwenke was able to run back to Szabo again. He did not lose the draft after being separated. So nice job from Travis.
Pieri gets away clean. Really nice, quick pit stop.
So Williams came in from the lead. He's still out. He's still out. He did not make a driver change. Williams has not pitted yet. Sorry.
Okay, Ford just now coming out. That was a much longer pit stop for those guys. Almost twice the time Pieri was in, to be honest. Just about a 29-second gap. Williams is now coming in. Craig Williams going to relinquish the lead, make his way in. Bush Fink is in the pits.
Yeah, King stays out, so King's going to run one more. So now we look for Pieri, who is just going through the toe right now. So he wants to see if he can come around. He's got a ways to go to see if he can get up to Williams.
Craig Williams all the way up in that third box, had a long trip down pit road, 45 miles an hour. Into box 3, they're getting that car changed over. Craig Parks going to get in. Getting 4 fresh tires on the Mustang.
Still watching as, boy, he's been in there a long time.
Well, like I said, they had that driver change, so that's gonna take up a little bit. Ruddock is now in. George Johnson's in. Now in the car for Slow Johnson. He's pitting in.
Okay, so Williams is no longer. Greg Parks is coming out there for Bush Fink Red.
Travis Davis gets in the car for Ruddock. Flying Tortoise Motorsports.
Yeah.
Anthony Woodward is in the car in the Slow Johnson Racing number 83. Lots going on, Bill. Lots to keep track of here. Lots of driver changes going on now. Pieri was one of those guys that decided to stay out. I can't remember. Pieri have a partner today, Bill?
No, Pieri has already made that driver switch, I believe. He was racing with, he was racing with Jacobs, so that's been done. What I think has happened here is the Williams-Park combination. Williams was your leader, gave way to Parks. Parks is out in front by about 14 seconds on Pieri right now, racing for Extreme Motorsports 2, but we still have some of those drivers up front that have yet to come in. King hasn't come in yet, and here he comes now. So now we can follow these around a bit.
Yeah, things are going to start to shake out here just a bit. King is about 20 seconds ahead of Dalton. Dalton still hasn't pitted. That's right.
Remember, Dalton was in that battle for 5th for a long time.
Dalton's going to make his way in. Now, Parks, that's going to be the car to watch. 40 seconds back. Sitting there in third. This might be an opportunity for him. It's going to have to be a quick pit stop for them. Mika Eshouse coming in.
Yeah, Parks just going around the final corner now, so I think he's going to get out ahead of I think he's going to re-inherit the lead here.
What a great camera angle there as we head down into the 90 with Craig Parks taking over first place.
Meanwhile,
and you see Mika Eshouse burn out of his pit stall.
So we still have the top two, still have Szabo and Schwenke out there running 1-2. In fact, in just a minute, we're going to have one of those rare eclipses where Parks, racing in the Mustang for Bush Fink Red, is going to come up behind the leaders in the MX-5, Szabo and Schwenke. They'll be there, well, maybe Szabo and Schwenke will pit before that happens.
Unfortunately, checking on James Stevenson in the Asbury Motorsports 426, he's got nobody to work with, Bill. He's been out there by himself, not able to lay down the kind of laps that the leaders are turning right now, again, because he just doesn't have anybody to work with. There's no draft to help out there at all. He's a man on his own little island, and all he can do right now is just battle the track and do his best to lay down the very, very fastest lap he can, but he's still a second and a half off the leaders.
And I want to give you a timing and scoring number. As soon as my timing and scoring kicks up with a time from Greg Parks back to Mika Eshouse. Now, Parks is leading, and with apologies to the Greg Park fan club, I know you're a good driver, certainly what Richard Losper would call a serviceable driver. I just don't know if you have the speed to stay ahead of Mika.
Well, Mika, I'm showing about 8.5 seconds back.
Okay, there you
go. Starting to close just a little bit at a time.
So let's mark that down. We're at the 1 hour and 30 minute mark, and it's about 8.5 seconds. We'll see how long it takes Eshouse to run up on those guys. Meanwhile, the MX-5 drivers are staying out again. Let's go to Parks right now, as Parks is going to go around Swanky. And not going to get up to Zabo right now.
Yeah, and that's, again, the pairing of the Ford and the Mazda. Always interesting to watch. They all handle a little bit differently. Here he goes around. Zabo getting a little bit out of shape there. Makes it a really interesting trip there for Greg Parks. Trying to hang on to the lead, trying to, open it up on Mika Eshouse some, and has to battle through that with Zabo. That was really close, Bill.
Now that they got that out of the way, they're not quite done yet either, because they got the man who's on hot pursuit is Eshouse coming up behind them as well. Those drivers, I'm looking to see how far they have yet to pit, so I imagine also third place. Let's see who else. Those are the last two cars to not make their stop yet. Or Houston has not, apparently. Chris Houston running in third has yet to come in. And maybe also Joe McDonald.
Yeah, no, there's right now I'm showing McDonald's coming in now. But you still got Houston, Schwenke, and Zabo have not pitted. McDonald's in. So those three are still the only ones that have not pitted there in the MX-5s.
So I'm saying that right now, running in fourth position is Gene Fittis. He's the driver who is leading all the cars who've pitted in that class. So that's who we'll pick up when we finally see Zabo come in. I don't think, Houston still needs to pit, and of course we know that Schwenke and Zabo need to do as well.
Right, and the gap back for Fittis though, right now looking back, he's I'm waiting for it to update. Actually, I can't see. He is slower though. That car is down on speed. He's about 2 seconds off of Zabo and Schwenke still.
Yeah, the one that I thought would be the one to challenge would be Stevenson, but like you said, he's really not been able to get much done. He's back in sixth position.
Yeah, not his fault either. It's just the nature of where he's at on the track, and there's nobody even close to him. I mean, that's the safest car on the track right now, Bill.
I got to turn into the town crier now as I get up on my little box and ring my bell here and announce 1:27, and the lead in the Mustangs is down to 7.5 seconds. So just in about 3 minutes, Eshouse was able to knock out, oh my goodness, a 1.5 seconds now as it's under 7 seconds. He's coming.
And just back looking at the leader, Zabo, he is still driving the car really hard, Bill. Hitting the curbs aggressively and bouncing that Mazda, Global Mazda MX-5 all over the place. Schwenke, doing what he's been doing for most of the race and just playing it a little bit cooler.
Now, I must admit, Schwenke's partner is Mick Field. I've never heard Mick before. I do not envy his position right now, because when Schwenke gets out of the machine, he's going to turn it over to maybe the best driver right now in the MX-5 on the iRacing service, and that's Sonny Kanchan. He's going to turn that over to him, and poor Mick Field's going to have to try to hang with him.
Yeah, Sonny, the guy that maybe you don't want to debut or try and make to keep up against. It makes me think of. Well, no, I don't want to bring up UFC. Nobody probably knows. Anyway, go back to the battle there. Szabo still, again, driving it hard, and Schwenke being the patient customer. They're going to get a little interruption from behind here, because here comes Patrick Bieri coming hard down into the 90. Moz is running it off really wide. So does Bieri. Gets back up on the track just in time. On board with Szabo. Looking back. You see Bieri back there, the white Mustang coming up quick with the black GC stripe down the middle. Black and orange, actually, a couple of different shades of orange. See some burnt orange on that. Might be a UT fan, who knows?
Maybe just a fan of Halloween.
Could be.
Bieri running in third position right now, Extreme Motorsports 2.
Yeah, not too far behind S-House, about 6 seconds. Parks down to about a 7-second gap on S-House. I think Parks is holding his own, Bill.
Yes,
so far so
started
good.
to hold us now. He might be managing the gap, and of course, you don't really know how much S-House is burning the car up to get there. Parks in first for Bushfink Red. Bushfink Blues driver is Mika Eshouse, and then Patrick Bieri running the final podium spot for Extreme Motorsports 2 in the Mustangs. And now, Sean, we get to the point in the race where I always start to talk nonsense as we get to 1 hour and 24 to go, and I start to bring up the eternal question is, can Szabo and Schwenke one-stop it?
I'm sitting here crunching numbers, and boy, they are sure pushing it really close here. Could be making a run towards that. We're about to find out. Are they going to make a dive in here? Coming out of the last turn, and there we go, in the pits.
They waited long enough just for me to make a fool of myself.
Yeah,
to get
it's
that
okay.
in.
I wanted to let you roll with it because I thought maybe they'd give it another one, but I also had a feeling back several turns before that they might just be setting up for exactly this.
Okay, now looking at Houston right now, he's got a ways to go to catch them.
He does, and
actually, he has a stop to make. That's really who we're not really looking at. Fittis is just going through the toe right now, so he's got a long way. He's the driver who's made a stop, Sean.
Right, but Houston's still the only Mazda left out here that has not come in yet. Kanchan's in the car, Mick Field's in the car for Asbury Motorsports for both teams. Houston coming around last turn.
He stays out. We're going to have a new leader, Chris Houston. Congratulations, Chris.
And he's going to catch those guys still in the pits, change it over.
Yep. 49 Motorsports going to lead a lap. Kanchan is out. Oh, my goodness. He's going to blow away. Mick Fields is still waiting. Mick is rolling. Here comes Fittis. Look at Fittis, though, in 12th. I don't think Fields is going to get out in time. Fittis is crossing the start-finish line. Fields trying to get the momentum up.
Fittis got to get through clean. Ooh, he's got good momentum there. Cuts it off just a bit. Going to come up alongside of him.
There we go. Fittis, Mr. Excitement, has that little MX-5 up to full song, and he's going to get it done. Fields going to tuck back in behind, but my gosh, what took so long to get that stop done, you guys? Asbury Motorsports.
Might have had a little bit of trouble. I know there's a certain bug out there in the iRacing server with driver changes. Hope they weren't affected by that. Might have slowed them down, who knows, but boy, it did cost him some time.
All right, with that done, what we'll do right now is looks like the pit cycle is all through. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back and set everything up the way it is when we get back in just a few moments. welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's Live as It Happens coverage of the Continental Sports Car Series, Continental Endurance Sports Car Series. And we're going to look at a little incident we just had while we were away with break. It's an incident with Travis Davis getting caught up with Chad Dalton. Now you see Davis get to the inside there, and Dalton said, they went over the mic, said, "I didn't see you." Davis was pretty far alongside of him there as they were going into the inner loop. Davis was running in 5th position at the time.
Yeah, we'll look on board with Travis Davis here. You see him there in the contact. And that sends Chad Dalton around. Dalton slow to get back up to speed, but he is still on the track. Not electing to bring that car in for a pit. Not a lot of damage. A little bit of damage on the right rear there where there was the contact. He's able to keep it off the wall. And like I said, still in the field here in 7th place. That's a tough break, though, after battling side by side for most of this race.
And now I'd like to send out a personal thank you to Chris Hewson, running in the car number 47, to make my idea of one stopping this race not so ridiculous, as I believe Chris is actually going to do that. He actually led for a long time, didn't bring it in till maybe 1:16 to go. So he's currently running right now in 2nd. He's made one stop, but we think he's done for the day. We think he can go the distance from here.
Yeah, we think so. He was right at the window, Bill, the maximum window. So we'll see. I can't imagine. We may have to tech that machine here at the end of the end of the race. There may be some fuel somewhere we don't know about.
Extra long fuel line. It just kind of wraps around the whole car.
Yeah, well, he's fresh and good to go now, but he's going to have to battle a little bit of traffic. Here comes Anthony Woodward making his way around. Just behind him, here comes Chad Dalton, trying to get back in this race.
So why don't we take a second here, Sean, as we look at this battle. Why don't we take a second and get everyone filled? We could probably run down the entire top 10 here of everybody. Let's go ahead and start with the GS class. Now, you know that Greg Parks is out there running in 1st position for Team Bushfink Red. But that interval, we've been talking about it for a while, has been closed down to 3.5 seconds now, because here comes Mika Eschhaus for his teammate, the sister team of Bushfink Blue. Running back in 3rd position for
I'm sorry,
Extreme
Bill.
Go ahead.
Chad Dalton just decided to bring the car in.
That's from that damage. Probably too much to keep it out there.
Sorry about that. Go ahead, Bill.
No problem. Well, that'll come into play here as I go through these standings here. Patrick Bieri running for Extreme Motorsports 2, running in 3rd position. 4th position is the guy we saw. Travis Davis was involved in that incident with Dalton, flying Tortoise Motorsports. They're up in the top 5 in the points, having another good race today, running in 4th position. Extreme Motorsports 1, Chris Ford has come in, taking over for his partner, which was Michael Burgett, running in 5th position now. Slow Johnson Racing, Anthony Woodward had come in for racing for his partner, George Johnson. George got somebody to race with him today, not all by himself. Slow Johnson running out there in 6th position. iRacing Today Motorsports, that's Chad Dalton. We talked about him bringing in the pits. He's currently listed in 7th position, but hopefully Mama Jean Racing Scott Brooks will be able to get around. He's already did it. Scott Brooks running in 7th as Dalton sits now in 8th. So there's your top drivers in the Mustang. Sean, what do you got going over there in the MX-5s?
All right, let's run it down for the STs here real quick. Sonny Cancian has moved on up to the lead. Gene Fitt is back to 2nd. Mick Field now in 3rd. James Stevenson on the hunt. Here still, he is now up to 4th. Cy Andra still in the car. They are now up to 5th. Chris Hewson falls to 6th. 7th place, Joe McDonald and Al Heaton. The last of the STs still on the track in 8th place.
And while Chris Hewson is running back there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place overall, remember, we think he's done. So I don't know how much distance he can give up. I mean, one of those cases, the tortoise and the hare, where the hare still wins because the tortoise is so incredibly slow.
Well, it's a pretty good gap back between Houston and Canchin, but that pit stop is going to be a big deal. If Canchin stays in the car, then that's going to be obviously a lot quicker pit stop. So when you're not going to need full fuel, you may decide to even double stint these tires. We haven't gotten any tire wear reports. Everybody's taking 4 to this point. That last pit stop, you could gamble and not take any.
So let me give you another interval that I think will be important. And that's the interval from Gene Fittis right now back to, actually, no, I want to do it differently. It's from Mick Fields running in 11th position back to James Stevenson. One of these drivers I know very well. One of these drivers I've just mentioned for the first time here in the last hour and a half. And that's Mick Fields. So we'll see what he can do. The interval right now is 5.1 seconds back to... I call him James Boomerang Stevenson because he has a tendency to win many, come back and win many championships in this series. He's a multi-time champion, so we'll see if Boomerang can catch up to Fields.
Well, Al Heaton just let Mick Field around, let him get by there. Makes his way over to the last turn. Heading into turn 11. Fields getting a nice run through there, and again, Heaton just really kind of moved out of the way for him back in turn 11. Lets him get through there clean. So Field able to get a little bit of a break there. You know, really, Stevenson again been running some pretty good laps, but has not been able to get into Fields' draft yet, and that has affected him. But he's been that last lap. Stevenson was a second faster than Mick Field.
That's one of the intervals we were watching, and the other one I'd like to keep an eye on. If we go to second place driver in the Mustangs, it's Mika Eshouse. I don't know how to say here, kitty, kitty, kitty in Dutch, but that's what he's saying right now as he is closing in. We knew it was going to happen. He's closing in on the back of Craig Parks. Parks just be able to get around. There's your point, your leader in the ST class there. Sonny Ketchen gives him some room. Here comes Eshouse. So right up front there you have Parks and Ketchen, your two leaders side by side.
Yeah, and Parks, though, still had to get out of it just a little bit. Another chance for Eshouse to close it up just a little bit more. Eshouse now has to get out of it himself. Ooh, Eshouse a little bit loose there off the turn. He gets around. Ketchen lets him go by. Not a fan of that turn, Bill. It eats me up every time.
So here we look at Eshouse right there.
Yeah, he's closing, Bill. Here he comes. Off the last turn, Eshouse gets a really nice run up the straightaway.
Down to just under a second now. Now remember, we first brought this to everyone's attention. It was at the hour and 30-minute mark, so it's taken about 23 minutes for Eshouse to close that, I believe it was 8.5-second gap. Won't be long. And what Parks has to be worried about now is it's not that far back to the driver in third position, Patrick Bieri, for Extreme Motorsports, although Bieri has not been able to make up much time on Eshouse. They go through the inner loop. Park still out in front, then this right-hander down through the chute. Then the left-hander, that is turn 6. Then this short straightaway into I think one of the coolest corners on the track here is the toe, turn 7. Eshouse loses a little bit of there, goes wide through 7, yeah. This area is called the boot. And it's called the boot because it kind of looks like a boot. And if you were a cobbler, then you would know that this is the heel. through turn 9.
So hard to carry any speed through their bill. It's really a drift through there, out of the power, pretty much all the way through that last turn we just went through there. Setting up for the last turn here, and we got to be so careful not let the car get around out to the wall. Very close. S-House on it. He's still keeping the gap right at about a second, though, Bill.
Not sure if he's going to get him this lap, but I probably think he's going to get him next lap here. We'll stay on this for a little while longer. I don't think we're missing anything else.
Back here in the ST class, Gene Fitt is still our leader. Sonny Canchin's our leader. Gene Fittis is who I was looking at. Gene was actually was starting to close just a little bit, had been a little bit faster, and then he had just a little bit of a mistake, and it cost him some time, and now he's got to try and gather it back up and work, put all that work in again, and try and get a little bit closer to Sonny. But the car to watch right now, James Stevenson coming in the pit. Stevenson is in.
There's Stevenson, as now we get from the race stewards are talking that the Bushfink Mustangs are at it again, and sure enough, there they are.
Having a little fun
S-House
here.
has run him down. Yep. S-House is so fast for the inner loop, that little right, left, right chicane there. He just gobbled up Parks. Won't be long here. Let's see where they decide. Let's even see if they decide to put on a fight. They're coming up on the lap car of Joe McDonald.
Stevenson's away. 4 tires and fuel. He stays in the car.
So he is done for the race. He's done now. He can go the distance from there.
I'll cycle him back to 6th place.
Now, S-House can't waste too much time here because he's got Bieri back there, who's very quick and has knocked off about 0.6 of a second since he's got behind Parks. But look at this. It's like S-House is not forcing the issue. These are 2 Bushfink drivers, but Extreme Motorsports 2 is very fast. They are certainly somebody to worry about. And now they go around the lapped car of McDonald. Joe does a good job letting those 2 teammates by. On his farm, he had 2 Bushfink birds, and they, I don't know what sound a Bushfink makes. But right now, they make the sound of popping champagne corks as they are out in front. But Mika has just kind of not pressing the issue. I wonder if they're just get this done somewhere easy. But right now, see, it's another half second that S-House has lost to Bieri in 3rd. I'm sure he understands what's going on. I'm not sure the patience that's being shown here.
Well, speaking of patience, Sonny Canchin showing extreme amount of patience as the leader up here. He's got nobody to work with, another car that finds himself alone on the track. Bill, sometimes it's almost harder to focus when you don't have anybody to race with or around you. I'm kind of one of those people who likes to chase the rabbit, on the pole there. And it's like I said, focus can sometimes be an issue. Not for Sonny right now, looking pretty clean.
I had a post-race interview with, this will be a name familiar with lots of iRacers, Jan Koemans, who is a notorious and MX-5 expert. And I asked him why, when he was out in front, he continued to run fast laps. And he said it was all about rhythm, that it was more dangerous for him to slow down and get out of rhythm than it was for him to run at 98% of what he could do. I found that interesting.
Another pit stop update for you. John Deuce Allen off the pit lane. That's 49 Motorsports A. They've taken their last pit. They'll cycle back into 6th. Stevenson up to 5th. Houston now up to 4th.
Okay, now I'm beginning to get a little bit annoyed with Mika Eshouse. He could make this pass and I wouldn't have to watch this all the time. If you want us to cover it on the broadcast live, Mika, you have to make it in a timely fashion. You've got behind Parks and you've been falling for 3 laps, and I'm not liking it. But I am telling you this, you are losing ground because Patrick Bieria is flying now. He's got it to about 5.5 seconds.
Well, it is really the only real battle on the track, but you know, the more we watch it, we begin to wonder if it's really a battle or if it's just 2 guys really just working together right now. And I think it's pretty obvious they're working together, taking care of the cars, and you know, they're both in a great spot. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there.
I don't know how.
Don't want to jinx anybody, Bill.
I can't imagine his car works better right behind Parks. I mean, if you're going to follow him, maybe give him a little bit more room. You're in jeopardy of Parks to make a mistake and both of you guys being taken out. But how can you argue with him? They're running 1-2. And I'm sitting here with an airplane joystick in my hand. So clearly they know more about race driving than I do.
Yeah. Well, right now it's up to Mick Field. He's chasing Gene Fittis. Fittis still having a pretty good run with a car that, quite frankly, is a little beat up, Bill. But they're managing. They're plugging away. Up to second place right now. They still gonna need another pit stop.
Yeah, so once again, Stevenson has come in. He made that second stop, currently running in 5th overall in that class. I have to keep an eye on him. He could be looking at a podium position there once these other guys make their final stop, and keep in mind that we don't think Chris Hewson is going to.
Boy. Cancian is slow on the track. Something's wrong. Fittis just gets around him. Cancian lets him by. Trying to find out what's wrong with the car. Catching it on the replay now.
On the
He's
inner
coming
loop.
in the pit. Yeah, it's boy, there goes Cancian
Oh my
in
goodness.
the pit.
Yeah, on the inner loop, coming into the inner loop, he looped the car. He caught the first curb on the inner loop. The car got loose, and then he collected the wall exiting the inner loop.
Yeah, Bill, and you know, I think it all started at that first curve.
Oh my goodness.
He gets just a little bit too far to the inside of it, gets to the wheel, maybe the left front just over it, got the car started, and the rear end started to come around, and he's not able to gather it up, and takes a really tough hit right there, man.
So that was a solid hit. We'll go on board with him now. You'll be able to watch him saw on the wheel here. You're right, Sean. It happened right here on the very first bump. Now he's out of control. Now he's just trying to save it.
Yeah, he just never was able to save it at all. And it hit like right in the middle of the door. That first shot.
So he brought it into the pits. He's brought it back out now. So that final pit stop is done. I'm looking to see how healthy the car is. It doesn't look... Not sure if he's really up to speed. No.
Yeah, he's still working the wheel. I'm watching his wheel right now, Bill. He's cranking on it.
There goes Stevenson by him.
Yeah, Stevenson gets by really quick. Sonny's, I think, right now just trying to... He's off in the grass.
Oh, Sonny!
Oh, he lost it again! Ouch!
What we might be looking at here, we got to watch out for a yellow flag. See, these are the things that could bring out a yellow. The race stewards are talking about it right now, seeing if Sonny can actually run.
They're gonna have to give him a tow, Bill. I don't think that car can continue.
Could be yellow flag time. They're telling Sonny, you got to try to move it. They don't want to throw the yellow unless they have to.
Oh no, he can't turn it. He can't turn it, Bill. The car will not turn.
Race stewards say, I see now. Let's see if they throw one. This is one of the wonderful things about this series with live marshals. They haven't thrown it yet. Is the car still out there?
He's still sitting there, Bill. trying to get back under power, but I don't think the car will steer. All right. Yeah, Elliott Huffman giving him the okay to go ahead and tow it. That puts Gene Fittis up to the lead. Gene working hard today. Mean Gene. Let's do it, baby.
What I believe the race stewards are saying, that he got the car close enough to a track exit that they wouldn't have been have to throw the yellow flag, because he was able to move the car from where it was to a safer location where they pull it off. We stay green. So, Sean, everything changes now.
Yeah.
What did we not just talk about a driver out there running and losing rhythm, and within 3 minutes of that?
I like Sonny a lot too, and yeah, had the opportunity to practice with him some here and there, and I feel bad. We brought up a subject, and I know he wasn't listening to us, but man, what a horrible time for that to happen to him. What a great opportunity, though, for Progression Racing Australia, and Gene Fittis now up into first. Mick Field second. The whole field shakes up. Chris Houston holding down third place now.
Everything changes because Houston now can go the distance. We're assuming he can go the distance.
We certainly think he can.
But he's only got about 2-second lead on Stevenson, who we know can go the distance because he's made his 2 pit stops. So it's all about Stevenson, if where he is in relationship to these other guys. And it's about Fittis has about a 7-second lead to Fields, who has about a 43-second lead back to Houston. So that's about 50 seconds, maybe about 52 seconds from our leader back to Stevenson.
And you know what? That is enough time for a pit stop if Fittis is staying in the car.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that is plenty of time to get it done. Going without tires, you can cut that pit stop in just under 30 seconds. He could be in great shape, Bill.
And then, to be honest with you, I have no idea. If we go back to Craig Parks right now, I have no idea what's going on up here. Craig Parks still leading S-House. S-House is tucked back in, but he's lost another 2 seconds, or let me correct myself, 1.5. Let's not exaggerate. 1.5 seconds to Bieri, who's closing in on him. That gap is only 4.5 seconds now. I honestly don't understand why S-House got to Parks and then stopped flying.
Well, and Bieri's fast right now. That last lap. Bieri coming in the pits. Here we go. Does seem maybe just a little bit early, and he was faster than those two, but brings it in now. Go out on top, right, Bill?
Well, if you really want to worry about yellow flags, the way you run, the way you pit, we have a pass for the lead now? Yeah, that's funny. Once Bieri came in, then Parks decided that he's going to give up the lead, or at least that's how society is going to take it. They're side by side. They're not making it easy.
Team Bushfink.
Those Bushfink birds, they're a pesky little bird. All right, new leader, Mika S-House. And now he starts to pick him up and put him down as he tries to leave Parks behind. So as I was talking about with yellow flags, how you do pit strategy on road course. As soon as you think you can go the distance, you come on in and make your pit. What you do, and Bieri gets right up behind McDonald. Woo, that was a close one. Sorry about that. We had it on screen, I guess. As soon as Joe McDonald had a scare. E-I-E-I-O. Bieri has made his pit stop. As soon as you can make your pit stop and not go a lap down, you want to come in and get it. The fear would be that a yellow flag would come out and the guys would all cycle in behind you. So Bieri's good to go. We'll see how long the Bushfink guys stay out. I have no clue to their strategy at all.
Well, Stevenson is closing. Faster race car. Been in the pits, but Gene Fittis is still the man to beat right now. We'll see if anybody can pull it off. Gene is in that chair of having to maintain his focus and beware of what's going on around him. I mean, he does have a bit of a battle going on here just behind him. I mean, McField is He's right there with him. They're really close in time. So Gene's got to be on point here and hit his marks and really do what he's done all race.
Yeah, so Stevenson got around Houston, who we're assuming is doing a one-stopper. He's good to go, but he's not going to have the pace to stay with Stevenson. It's about 50 seconds from your leader back to Stevenson in third, about 43 seconds from Field back to Stevenson. And a shout out to Mick Field. I didn't know who you are. I've never seen you before, but you're doing a great job.
Houston trying to make a pass.
This is Houston now. Maybe he's given up the one-stop strategy. Says, I'm going to race you now.
Yeah.
Okay, This is interesting. S-House has made a pit stop.
Yeah, it was a quick in and out there for S-House.
And he's out about let's see how far up. He's about 5 seconds ahead of Bieri. Maybe he picked up about half a second in the pit stops. Bieri had it down to about 4.5 seconds.
Stevenson, I'm sorry, Bill. Stevenson's still back here battling with Houston.
Well, I don't think Chris was part of James's plan. Yeah, I got around you. I was good to go. Unless Stevenson's got behind him, needs to save a little fuel, but nope, he wouldn't be pulling out like that.
Stevenson to the inside. He's able to pull it off. Houston lets him by. I mean, make no mistake, that's a little common sense there. Don't fight too hard yet. But it is a good little battle. I think we'll see more of it here as the race continues on. We are down to less than an hour, Bill. Almost 45 minutes to go.
Well, you know what, Sean? That's the same two cars that were battling earlier. We saw Houston battling, except he was battling with Stevenson's teammate, Richard Losper. So here we are after, oh my goodness, working on it an hour and 45 minutes, and those same two cars have been together the whole race. Richard Losper, the teammate to Stevenson in Asbury Motorsports, that car 426.
Yeah, and Losper did a great job in his opening stint of just taking care of the car and, running some really, really good solid laps. And it puts Stevenson in the position he's in now. But Houston's not giving up anything, working his way back to Stevenson. They're going to head up the back stretch, down into the inner loop. Ooh, Stevenson almost seems to pull away just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Houston just backing off there a little bit. Still plenty of time to get it done. He knows what strategy he's on, so I
don't think Chris has any idea what strategy he's. I don't see how he could possibly be racing the boomerang like he is right now and still think to get to the end without stopping again. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the key is to staying close to the boomerang for now.
Sometimes the idea of having fun is just too much to turn down. It's what gets people to play hide and seek in a Kia store. It's just so much fun, but it always leads to trouble. And I think that's what's happening here. If you've never played hide and seek in a Kia store, you haven't lived.
I'll have to remember that, Bill.
Oh my God!
I like the hot dogs at IKEA, Bill.
That's good too. Our director says it's about the meatballs.
Hey, meatball.
No, man, it's Swedish meatballs. Wrong meatballs, dude.
Hey, quick update. The Asbury Motorsports number 74. Houston in the pit.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Canchin, guys, I'm sorry, Canchin in the pit. My bad.
Okay.
And of course we knew he was in the pit because of that damage. That car is unfortunately done for the day. Sorry there, Bill. I got a little bit off track. We're talking about hot dogs. We were talking about hot dogs. That's what got me off track.
7 MX-5 still running out there. The last one is Heat and Bake. You can do that with hot dogs, I guess. Al Heaton running in 7th spot.
Still been a great race. I love the way this race is developing here for Gene Fitties. Really, just a guy who got in some trouble early and really beat that car up quite a bit, but didn't beat it up enough to get all the speed out of it,
Well, the trick was he beat it up equally on both sides, so it's well balanced.
You said that in the beginning when he got
it's
that
banged up. His left front fender is banged up, and his right front fender is banged in. But when he did hit the wall, what he did do, he kind of, if this makes sense, he kind of pancaked it in there, so it hit at a good angle both times.
Yeah, and again, if he could somehow pull this off and win this race today, that'll be the story. Is how he overcame the early trouble and really just stayed in it, and was able to overcome the misfortune of a couple of others. This has been a tough day on a few guys here. The attrition, it's been real. I mean, we only have 3 cars officially out of the race. Sonny's car is still in the pit, but I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to come back out.
No.
And if it does, I don't think it's going to be driving straight when it does, Bill.
I think the interval that's going to be of interest is the interval between Stevenson and your leader of Fittis. Right now, I got to do a little math to do it because my timing and scoring doesn't give me from first to third. Well, actually, maybe I can look over here and see what the interval is. 49 seconds. Yeah, we have ways of doing this. There's more ways to skin a cat. Not that I would know why anyone would want to skin a cat, but I guess if you wanted to, there's lots of ways to do it. I don't recommend any of them personally.
I've never gotten that one, Bill. Why are we skinning cats?
No, I don't get it.
Why are we skinning cats?
That saying should be retired. In fact, I am officially retiring that from my repertoire. It's too creepy. So meanwhile, the interval is about 49 seconds back from the leader. So remember, the Fittis has to do a pit stop.
This race, this unknown that you speak of, Bill McField, just doing his job. Honestly, the man is out there just doing his job. The Asbury Motorsport number 75 having a really solid run right now. They find themselves in second place. I mean, what more could you ask from the guy?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Travis Swenke gets back in the machine. I didn't see much fall off there between the two drivers. Well, that's a pretty well-balanced team.
No, I mean, now his mixed last lap was better than Gene.
Now there's not Sean. While there's not a lot of battles, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. So we have that. We talked about Stevenson being back there, still in the hunt, even though he's close to 50 seconds off the pace. Then in the Mustangs, you have Eshouse, who's running in second, but that interval now is beginning to shrink again. I told you about Bieri has been fast. That he's knocked off about a second after the pit stop. They came out, they were 5.5 apart. Now it's 4.5 apart. So you never know if Eshouse is just managing the gap. Sometimes they can play with the announcers, or if Bieri's actually running them down. And then all that's going on, you still have Parks, who's leading by 35 seconds, but he still has a stop to make. So,
right, exactly.
Lots of stuff going on here.
Yeah, lots of things still ready to develop here.
Let's go. Chris Houston just put the machine in the wall. Let's see if it was long ago. It might have been too long ago to see.
Well, it looks like he picked up some damage on the right side.
About half a lap ago, so we'll see. It was, see if I can figure out where it is. Looks like it was just through the chute, turn 6. Yeah, there you go. We saw it on the end. Put that right side. He got a little loose through 6. He's the second car in line. The yellow car is Stevenson.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those spots of the track there. You've really got to get the car slowed down, and if you miss it, you run off and you hit that barrier. And Bill, that's the first thing that does when you make that contact there. It gets the right front all out of shape. It's always when you hit it hard. We're on board with him here. There's Chris. He gets off in the grass, and the grass is going to suck him up into the wall. He's got that right front damage. It's going to hopefully not hurt the handling too bad, but we'll see here. He's got some damage to work with now, unfortunately.
And And let's jump up to your leader for a minute. Again, we can't really show you a battle. What we are watching now are intervals. This is down to 6.6. It was up to 8.5 a while ago. Gene Fittis to Mick Field. Field beginning to either Fittis made a mistake and that's why it came off all in one big chunk, or Mick Fields is beginning to run him down. But we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Well, Mick Field picking up the pace just a bit. He about a second faster on that last lap. Stevenson still picking up, still faster than everybody though, just a bit. Houston, honestly, despite the incident by Houston there, doesn't lose an insurmountable time to Stevenson. Stevenson having his own little battle there, having trouble. Where finds Al Heaton in not a great spot in the track there in the last turn, but able to get around him. Al able to hang on to the car. Stevenson, though, hangs on to third place. You know what? Let me run down the field for you here in the ST class just real quick. So Fittis now sits in first, Mick Field in second, James Stevenson third, Chris Houston fourth, Deuce Allen sitting in fifth, Joe McDonald sixth, and Allen is spinning. Oh, and a lot of damage on that car.
Looked like corner one, then he got it out into the kitty litter. The car just kept looping around on him. Boy, he nosed it right in straight, though. At least that's one good thing.
Well, I don't know how good it's going to be, though. It looked like heavy damage. Just loses it. Coming off the 90 there, and boom, straight in, knocks the hood off. That's unfortunate there for Deuce. That's going to shuffle him back even further. Got a long way to go to get around. Stevenson going to have to deal with Team Bushfink. Closing on him quick. Here comes Mika Eshouse. Picking those two up here real quick. Looks like Mika is gonna catch him all the way down here in the toe.
S-House now around Stevenson to make sure you're up to date there.
Yep, that's a good one.
But what's interesting is that interval is now from S-House to Bieri is about 4.2. It is shrinking, and there's still a huge, what would be 38 minutes, what would usually be a regular race for a lot of the sprint races that we carry here on GSRC, usually run about 40 minutes anyway, so a whole race in front of them.
Gene Fittis bringing it in.
And I'm looking at Stevenson. Stevenson is on the main straight right now. Stevenson is going past pit exit.
Long pit stop for Fittis.
Fittis just rolling. Unless I've got my laps wrong, I'm saying Stevenson is now ahead of Fittis.
Yes, he is.
With his stop done.
Stevenson has cycled up to second place. Mick Field up to first.
In fact, good news for 49 Motorsports. I believe Chris Houston is also ahead of Fittis.
Yes, that is correct. Houston is now in third. Houston, who we know, or well, we suspect, is going to make it to the end of this race. Now, he is dealing with some damage on that machine. Question is, can Fittis catch him? The gap about 6 seconds, Bill.
Why such a long stop for Fittis? I don't remember that first stop being especially short. Maybe the car being so banged up, probably not getting great fuel mileage.
Yeah, he was in for almost 40 seconds, 38 and a half seconds there.
Without a driver change. I mean,
Without a driver change, right. Probably just about 15, almost 15 seconds longer than he should have been.
So now it all comes down to Mick Field, who needs to make that stop. He's got a 40-second lead on Stevenson. Now, with only 36 minutes to go, they don't have to stop. They can run it dry and come in. They don't need to take on a full fuel load.
Here comes the leader. Craig Parks is in the pit, Bill. Team Bushfink back in. What's he gonna do? Let's see how quick this is. They're gonna keep the tires on it.
The driver in second, S-House, just going through turn 11 right now. He's going to inherit the lead.
No tires yet, Bill. No tires yet.
Bieri, it looks like Bieri is going to get the better of Parks as well as he stays there, and Parks is staying in the machine. Bieri goes
He's
by.
away.
Okay,
Parks is away. No tires. No tires for Parks.
Going to come out in third, comfortably in third. And about timing and scoring hasn't caught up, but there's more than one way to
just a
read
little
this.
over 5 seconds. I'm saying just a little over 5 seconds, Bill. Well, no, I'm sorry. The gap to S-House now about 9 seconds. 6 seconds to Bieri.
Right, exactly. It's 6 to Bieri, 9 altogether. But it's about 3.5. This is the real important gap. It's about 3.5 from S-House to Bieri. Little by little, Bieri is running him down. Is he using up all of his stuff to get there? We'll see.
We will see. I'll tell you what, Bill. I think we're going to see an exciting finish there up front in the Mustangs. They are putting on quite a show. Can S-House hold off Bieri when Bieri, Bieri can get there, right? But he's got to pass him.
Oh, you set me up for it. I got to use it. My dad always said, passing a car is like milking a rooster. The hard part happens after you catch it.
Yes, sir. The hard part is in front of us, and I think based on what we're seeing here on the time left on the clock and positioning on the track, it's all going to happen here really soon and really near the finish.
It's down to 3.2 seconds, and we'll be watching that. So we have lots of a fascinating race, honestly, if you understand motorsports. You don't really have a battle on track, but that doesn't mean you have anything interesting. You got Mick Fields, who's ahead by 38 seconds. Most novice race fans would say, well, how exciting is that? Well, no. He's ahead by 38 seconds, but he still needs to come in for a pit stop.
And he's starting to lose time to Stevenson. I'm really thinking he needs to get that car in soon.
And so then
he can't let that gap get to 35, somewhere in between 35 and 30 seconds. I don't think there's any way he can get in and out that quick.
Personally, with the gap shrinking, I would come in as soon as possible with hopes of maybe being able to stay in the tow. The longer you wait, the smaller the gap, the less likely you're going to be able to come out anywhere near Stevenson. If you can come out ahead of him or close to him, then you have a chance to race with him. Then we go back to Chris Hewson, you add a little bit of math here together, he's about 50 seconds back, but he's going to try to he's done stopping it too. He's the only driver doing it on one stop. Fascinating. And
yes, it is.
And let's not forget about Gene Finnis, who has bounced the car off of both sides, has 2 horrible pit stops, and is running in fourth with I have visions of a podium as well.
Yeah, he could very well get that, but we'll see. Houston, he's got to be faster than Houston, and right now those cars are still neck and neck in times.
Again, but how fast can Houston be when he's got to try to do it on one stop? So we'll see.
Yeah, the tires, of course, have got to be an issue for Houston. Of course, he had trouble, probably flat spotted one or a couple of those tires, and those tires are probably screaming at him. They're a little bit angry, so he's working hard indeed. Mick Field, though, not having any trouble at all, having a really smooth trip around, getting ready to complete another lap. Still your leader in the ST, representing the Asbury Motorsports number 75 team very well today.
Let's give a little camera time here while we can to Travis Davis, running in 4th position right now in the Mustangs for playing Tortoise Motorsports. He's running in 4th, but it may not be for long, because just getting in the car after sitting out for most of the race is Kevin Ford for Extreme Motorsports 1, and he is beginning to run down Davis like there is no tomorrow. He's closing, so this is going to be a pass for position here in no time. Surprised to see Ford get such little seat time this race.
Yeah, Ford, definitely a guy we're used to seeing on the track quite a bit, Bill, and a little bit, who knows, maybe life happens and he wasn't able to get in as much seat time today, but with Ford in the car, Davis got to be looking over his shoulder now. Ford looks to be closing that gap just a bit. It was a full second faster on their last lap, getting ready to complete another. And he's closed it down to practically nothing now.
Stay on that. We keep looking all around. Mick Field still staying out on the track. We'll try to cover that pit stop when he goes. But right here's your closest battle. We ride on board with Kevin right now. They go across. Just to give you an idea, they're working lap 57. Not that the lap numbers matter, but that's how far they've gone.
That's a lot of laps, Bill.
Yeah.
That's takes a lot of focus to get around that many laps here clean. Travis Davis doing the best he can, but I gotta be honest, I think he might get caught here by Ford as they head up the back straight. Ford in the tow. I don't think he's going to catch him before the inner loop, but able to close the gap just a little bit more.
The good news for Kevin, or I guess it's good news, it's good and bad news together, is there's little chance of him gaining up another position, so Kevin can actually take his time, take his spot here. He doesn't need to hurry. Well, you see him looking left, looking right, trying to find a way to go. Davis trying to make that car as wide as he can. Now, Ford looking to the outside. I don't think this is going to work as they go through the tow.
Mick Field still on track up here in the STs, Bill. He just went around another time, lap 55, working it.
37-second interval back to Stevenson there.
Boy, I'll tell you what, that window's getting a little too tight for me. I really want to bring, if I know I need fuel, Bill, I think I really want to bring that car in now. That's me. I'm just,
Yep, I would.
if I'm on top of the box, I'm starting to get a little nervous by these times back there by Stevenson.
On screen right now, this battle, Travis Davis just ahead of Kevin Ford. We're looking for Kevin to make this move pretty soon if he would like to be nice to the commentator. They go down the straight. Let's see if Kevin gets in the tow. Kevin just not pushing the issue here, just going to wait as they go into one. Kevin trying to milk the rooster. That's what my dad always said. The easy part's catching the rooster. The hard part's getting some milk. And that's what Ford is right now. Trying to figure a way around Davis as they come up to the inner loop. This is where Ford is much faster. It's really hard to make a pass through here, but you can gain up a lot of time. See Ford trailing in that blue car behind as we look off the tailpipe of Davis. Nothing much going on anywhere else. We're watching it. Vieri has got the interval down to 3 seconds on S-House, so that is closing.
Well, McField just got passed by S-House there, and certainly talk about getting caught at a right spot on the track. Allows S-House to get by clean. But McField keeping it out for another lap, Bill.
That interval from Fields to Stevenson running at 7 seconds, or 37 seconds, holding about the same. The question is, I don't think that's enough to get in and out. But, Sean, keep remember, it's not going to need a lot of fuel. He only needs 27 minutes worth.
Yeah. Doesn't need much at all. And getting passed again here. Nice clean pass there.
Oh,
okay, Houston is in. Chris Houston is in.
The man who we thought might one stop it isn't, but this will give us an indication of how quickly these pit stops can be. He's in there for quite a while. Meanwhile, Kevin Ford just trying to get some, trying to annoy me. I'm putting you on my list, Kevin. Get this pass done. I got other areas to call. This is a battle for fourth.
It's like the Battle of the Bulge. It just won't end, Bill.
I know the Battle of the Bulge, as a matter of fact.
It's a fairly long conflict.
Yes.
Well, Houston's back out on track, but not really sure what happened there, Bill. I thought they were primed to make a run to the end here without.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Without a fuel stop, and then unexpectedly come in. I don't know if maybe it had a little bit to do with the right side damage they've got on the car, but they still have it. So not quite sure what happened. Houston's sitting back in fifth. Going to be hard to get on the podium. I don't know that we'll get a chance to ask him exactly what happened there.
Meanwhile, Mika's S-House lead is down to 2.6 seconds. Bieri trying to run him down. Davis and Ford still nose to tail.
Well,
37 seconds, still the lead from Mick Fields back to Stevenson.
I was just about to say, Mick, you know what? Mick's having a really good run right now. Stevenson not able to catch him quite as quick as I thought he was. That gap's still holding there at about 37 seconds. And, Mick, we know he's got to bring it in, but, the longer he stays out, obviously he's decreasing the length of that pit stop. They seem to have a pretty good plan right now. The Asbury Motorsports number 75 could be ready to pull out a big surprise on us all today, Bill.
Yeah, well, they have Richard Losber there for Stevenson's teammate. I'm sure they have a great understanding of what they need to do, exactly how much they need to, what they needed to take. There you see Stevenson running all by himself. Gene Fittis now with that pit stop by Houston has moved up into a podium. Let's go up to Davis. I think maybe finally Ford's going to make this happen.
It's looking like it.
Strange place to do it on the outside going into the inner loop. I don't know if I would have chosen there to try it. And it proves me right. I guess that works. Hey, baby. No rooster milk for Kevin Ford yet. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and
Ford, now they go through the
I think
toe.
they're having a little bit of fun with each other out there right now, Bill. And Ford almost loses it.
Well, that's good. That's going to drop them back a little bit. I can leave this battle, check in on something else. Kevin Ford clearly playing with me. Let's look at our leader in that same class, Mika S-House. It's 2.5 seconds. And I bet you if we went on board with Patrick Bieri, he'd be able to see the guy he was chasing. Just as they go through, he'll be able to see him on the straightaway. He's just up there. Do you see those long shadows? There's Bieri as he just starts to duck in. S-House goes through the chute. Bieri can see him now as they head down into the toe. The interval is 2.3 seconds with 22 seconds left to race. That's 1/10 of a second per minute. Okay, Ford has fight. No, he has not. Davis was off in the sand. I thought Ford had got it done. Davis has about 2-second lead on Ford, so we'll check back in on that later. Sean, is Mick Field ever going to bring this car in?
I don't know, Bill. I really don't. He is in the boot now, and it's decision time here. Now, Stevenson closed it up to about 36.5 seconds. I told you I didn't think I wanted to be within that 30 to 35 second window. We'll see here as he navigates the last couple of turns here into 9 now. I'm sorry, into 10 and getting ready to head on over to 11, and we'll see. No, I was right the first time. He's in 10 now and heading on to 11. But what are we going to do here, Mick?
We're going to bring it in this time, I think.
What's the call?
I see no reason to. We're not. We're staying out.
He's swinging it all the way out wide and coming back across the start finish line. Still our leader, McField, the Asbury Motorsports number 75. James Stevenson working hard, trying to catch him there. Teammate, Asbury Motorsports number 426. Gene Finney still hanging in third, looking for a podium.
Yep, S-House now. This is unusual. We are seeing Mika S-House being ran down. It's got to be frustrating for him because it's been going on for so long. That interview is now interval is 1.5 back to Patrick Bieri. Bush Fink Blue being challenged. Yeah.
I was going to say, Bieri's been fast all day, Bill. He's doing it. He's definitely catching S-House. We were going to have that battle we talked about. Looks like we're going to have it with just a little bit less than 20 minutes to go.
Well, my dad used to tell me it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that certainly is the case with Jeff Jacobs, who always manages to find himself partnered with the winning driver. Jeff Jacobs is the partner of Patrick Bieri, and I think Bieri is going to, right now, has a real chance to take home this checkered flag for himself and his partner.
They're definitely working on it. I'm checking through the STs right now, trying to find a battle here. Everybody's spread out pretty well. Does Deuce, I got to be honest with you, Deuce is a little bit faster than Gene right now, than Gene Fitties. About a second faster. Still plenty of time.
Well, yeah, the fittest Deuce Allen, that's a question of whether it's faster to bang your car on the right side, on the left side, or straight in the nose, because both of those cars have been. Allen has nosed it in.
And Bill,
Deuce Allen, there.
I just put the curse on somebody else. On Deuce that time. Bad trip through the inner loop cost him big and really wrecked the car. And again, it was the same situation as earlier we saw in a previous wreck. He gets just a little bit up over the curb and not able to get it under control. Car is not steering well at all. He's crabbing. Trying to get to a safe spot, but he still has so far to get around.
Now they're telling Deuce, if you're having trouble towing it or controlling it, please tow it. They won't throw the yellow.
Well, he's giving it the old college try, Bill. Maybe just looking for a better spot to pull off here. I don't know. But he's trying to get around. He's been towed. And there you go. Boy, end of the race for Deuce Allen. That's tough.
Yeah, Sean, I was in a regulation racing race a while ago. And the guy cut me off and then punted me. I'm going to invite him maybe to come in here and race with us next week. And could you do me a favor and announce him so that you can jinx him and make him crash into the wall? So I can get some delayed justice. Bill. You're scary.
I am. Boy, wow.
Okay, well, because Sean does not have the Midas touch today, I'm going to announce this. We'll keep Sean away from these guys. Mika S-House now. The interval is down to a second. Here comes Patrick Bieri. Sean, you can come in and talk. You've used up all your magic now.
You think so, Bill?
They're safe, yeah.
Well, Bieri is definitely closing, and he coming up the front straight here. And I'll tell you what, like we keep talking about, I keep referring to it, this battle we're going to see here in just the closing laps of the race. It's been a good one. That was they're working on lap 64 now. Like you said, the laps don't really matter. The time does. But great patience and focus by Patrick Bieri right now continues to try and track down Mika S-House. You know, Bill, something I've kind of observed today here at the Glen, the Mustang doesn't seem to get quite the run that the Mazda does, actually, in the draft.
I was thinking the same thing. We talked about that's why I think the Rooster Milk is hard to get. We saw that Ford had a hard time getting around. Who was he chasing? I guess Ford was chasing Davis. He couldn't get around that, and I think we're going to have the same trouble here. I think S-House is going to get caught, but I don't know if Bieri's going to be able to get around him because they're close enough in speed. Oh, look at this. As we look at S-House, he's got Houston in front of him in the NX5. That's really going to slow him down. It really maybe come down to traffic that's going to cost the... Yeah, the MX-5s get such a good run, but it seems like the Mustangs just aren't able, with the horsepower and the extra speed, not able to get that toe like the MX-5s do. And Vieri is there now.
Yes, he is. Yeah, but again, the lack of, like I said, being able to just really get that run is what's made that battle we were watching with Ford earlier. I mean, again, it took so long to pull that off, and it's a product of the drafting ability of this particular car. They draft well, but they certainly don't have a closing rate of the Mazda that the Mazda has.
And it's only 20 seconds back to Greg Parks for in Team Bushfink Red, running in third. If those two guys were to get into trouble up front, anything could happen. Hey, Stevens, what happened to Stevens? Field had made his pit stop. We missed it. Field made his pit stop, and Stevenson just jumped him.
We did miss Field's pit stop. Sorry about that, Bill.
But not by much.
Not by much at all. Field comes out in really good shape. He's got Stevenson right in his sights. Question is, can we reel him in? Stevenson had been quicker.
We had been watching Mick, and he slipped in on us there.
Yeah, he did. Now, Bill, that pit stop only 8.2 seconds. Okay, so again, obviously just a little bit of fuel. The car is still light. He's got speed to catch him. He's in the tow now.
And I can say that Stevenson wasn't able to run down a whole lot of time when he was 37 seconds behind. So now we have battles for both classes here. After 2 hours and 15 minutes, we have a battle between S-House and Vieri. That's very close. And then we have this battle for Stevenson and Fields. But it looks like Stevenson might be able to start putting some distance here.
Well, battle rages on. Obviously, Stevenson in control, but man, Mick Field, the driver to watch out. You know, he set himself up for a podium finish today. Gene Finnis, we talked about him all day. You know what? He's hanging on, Bill. He's back here in third place and coming across the line here and working on lap 62.
Let's go to Davis here. Ford has caught back up to Davis. I think Ford's going to make a move. This is for fourth place. We'll keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this while we're watching the leaders. Nope, we'll go up to the lead because there's a battle for the lead. All of a sudden, the excitement gets all over the place. Vieri was side by side with S-House.
And S-House able to take it away out of the last turn. Nice run by S-House. He leaves Vieri behind, heading down into one. Let's see here. Will Vieri try to make a move on him? Well, he's gonna just tuck in there. Both of them having a pretty good trip through here.
Stay on this battle. It looks like Stevenson has distanced himself from Fields. It's about 1.5 seconds now. S-House in front of Vieri, and then the other battle I'm keeping an eye on is Ford and Davis. Here's a pass. It's S-House on the inside. They go through the inner loop. We saw that that's hard to do it. Vieri's going to have a hard time getting a bite off of that, and it doesn't work. We saw Ford try to do the same move on Davis, and it didn't work then, but here comes S-House with a strong bite as they go through the outer loop. Now into the chute. Coming up into turn 6. Vieri looking for somewhere to go. S-House racing as smooth as blended whiskey. Vieri all over the place, trying to find a way around. Not going to get it done yet as they come down into the toe. 12 minutes to go, Sean.
Yeah, and this is everything we anticipated it would be. A great battle, a battle to the death, to the finish line, Bill, to the checkered flag of this great race here today at the Glen. Classic battle, two great drivers just slugging it out. Mika S-House and Patrick Vieri. Parks got too much work to do at this point. I think he's going to be okay to hold down a podium if he just keep the car clean for these last several laps.
To me, it looks like the favored passing spot. If you can get a good run out of Ford, that's the last turn in the S's, heading up into the inner loop. We'll see what happens here. That's Vieri back there now. go down the main straight.
Well, Bill, back here in the Mazdas, the ST class, James Stevenson's still your leader, and I got to be honest with you, he's starting to pull away from Mick just a bit. Mick just doesn't seem to have the speed to match Stevenson right now, and Stevenson, it looks like, is on his way here to a good victory. Still got some work to do, and certainly Mick going to be back there ready to take advantage. Here's that pass now on screen. S-House, Bieri.
He's on the outside as they go into one. Bieri gets it done, and a little bit of tap from behind from S-House. And meanwhile, Ford was finally able to get around the car that he was battling of Davis. Oh, we're going to have a replay. It was not pretty. Ford, and he did it on the inner loop. Look here, now that's Ford in the blue car. He's going to get the pass done. And Ford gets into the inner loop first, and then Davis tries to squeeze up, and then no room for Davis to go there. But no harm, no foul. They all continue. But S-House has not given up. He is still on the back of Bieri.
Not at all. Not at all. They know how much time is left.
Greg Parks running in third place, coming over the microphone, saying to Mika that Patrick thinks your mother is ugly. And then going to Patrick saying he thinks your wife is fat, trying to get those guys to go at each other. Bieri out in front. The only hope for Parks is for these two guys to get together, and that's not unreasonable. 9 minutes to go, still plenty of time because Sean Bieri's not able to pull away. S-House is right there.
You know, Bill, I know you were watching that battle, but you know what I'm starting to think, what I thought might have been a sure thing for Mick Field, he's got to be careful because Gene Fittis is on the move. He was 3 seconds faster than Mick on that last lap, and he's closed that gap down to just about 2 seconds now. Fittis still really driving hard. Has been this whole race. Great to see out of him. Really happy for that team today. Fittis putting in yeoman's work today, Bill.
Doing it all by himself. Driving very hard, and his car is evidence of that. Meanwhile, Bieri still out in front. S-House stalking him. See that on screen. No real battle. Parks safely in third. Ford able to run away from Davis. Woodward a quiet sixth place for Slow Johnson Racing. And Mama Jean, Scott Brooks still out there for Mama Jean. Another solo driver. 3 laps down, but bringing that white and yellow car home. Meanwhile, we look at Mika S-House looking for a way around Patrick Bieri.
I think it's going to take a mistake from Bieri at this point. And I was watching him get through my favorite turn on the track, and didn't look like any fun. He did a good job of hanging onto the car. Heading through the last turn, Bieri still keeping it clean, looking really fast as he heads across the start-finish line, and it just doesn't seem S-House has got the ponies to get to him.
Bieri very good out of 11 with a good drive off.
Yeah, but boy, I'll tell you what, Mika had a really strong run to the inside there, picked up a little bit of ground on him.
Different setups. Don't know how fresh the tires are in either car as they work their way through the S's.
Okay, Bieri, now he's showing.
Yeah.
He is a little bit of grunt. Here comes S-House, a little bit of grunt coming out of that Mustang.
He could force the issue if he wanted to. Not going to do it this time, but I think he learned a lot. Yes, if he could stay just a little closer, he could push that pass in the inner loop. And honestly, I'm not familiar enough to know what the defensive line would be into the inner loop. I think it would be to the outside. We'll see. I don't know where you want to protect there.
I think Fittis might have had a little bit of trouble, lost a little bit of time there to McField. That is still a battle to keep to keep an eye on, though. We know Mick's got a little bit of damage on that car that he's been working with, and we'll see if Gene can catch him. I'm sorry, Gene's the one with the damage. Mick's still actually running a really clean race car. He's been solid ever since he got in the seat. Okay, it looks like our leaders are catching a little bit of traffic, Bill.
That's Joe McDonald currently running in 5th position for Team Scum. He gets out of the way, but wait a minute now. Did that open up some room? Nope. Looks like Field may be having trouble.
Pit.
Oh, Field is pitting.
In.
Fittis goes by. Oh my, let's go back up to the Mustangs because Vieri is way closer than he was last lap. Except he takes it way wide into the sand and loses it all. S-House was right behind Vieri. Had a good run. I think he blew it all in one. I don't think he's going to have anything now through 4.
Yeah, he's going to have to spend the whole back straight just trying to get to him again as they head down into the inner loop.
It almost felt, Sean, like there was an arrow push there. He was so close through 1, the car just wouldn't turn in. Let's see if he's going to force the issue here again. Nope. But I think he knows. I think he's learning.
And Fitta is just right up in front of those guys. They're going to have to navigate him here in just a moment. Probably catch him down in the boot. Fitta's got to be careful. I mean, he's got a podium locked up. He's just got to take care of it. He's got to get out of the way. Make sure these guys get by clean.
Oh, you stay wide, stay left, and I think that's what he's going to do. Well, he gives them barely enough room.
Yeah.
And a little tap. A little tap. Now there's Cialis bathtubs through the boot. But he's not going to have a drive off of 7 to get this done. And S-House has to tuck back in. But meanwhile, they still have the car up in front of them. They weren't able to get around Fittis. And Fittis is still giving them fits.
Yeah, and Fittis can corner better through there than they can. And, he's just driving his line. Now he's going to back off and let him go.
Now he backed off, yeah.
I mean, he practically got in a brake right there. In fact, I see the brake lights come on. He lets him go by. Good job by Fittis there. Makes it clean.
And Sean, now with this new dynamic track and the particle system that they have, probably Fittis wasn't real crazy about getting too far offline, going out there where no man has gone before through the toe.
Yeah,
give you a little room, but I'm not going to go out there into the marbles.
Yeah, no, and that's certainly not a place you want to be. And certainly when you get out there in the marbles and you get back on the track, you bring that stuff back on with you. And there's a couple of spots on this track where it might be getting very, very wicked, on the outside of a groove.
Okay, with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left to go, it looks like we'll have 1.5 laps left, I would assume. We're pretty much going to stay on this unless there's some big excitement elsewhere. I think everything else is pretty much settled down. Here comes S-House with the run, but again, he's too far back. He's got to get a better drive. He loses it all at 1. He's great from 11 into 1, but he loses a lot of distance at 1, spends all that time through 2, 3, and 4 trying to get it back, and then doesn't have it. I think his place where he wants to make the move, though, is in the inner loop. Now he's chasing him again. They're going to come down through the chute. Now he may drive it in deep here, give it a little love tap that's slow enough where he could give him a little punt and see if he can get him through the toe. Dives it in. There's room if he wants to be rough about it, but he's going to play fair. Good drive off of there, looking for a good exit between 7 and 8. Pretty good. They come into the heel. It's a sharp right-hander. He gets right up on the back of him, misses him. I thought he was going to... Boy, he was late braking, and now he's going to lose all of his momentum. He did everything he could to stay off the back of Bieri. Now he's got to run him down.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to get much more of an opportunity. I think this might be the white flag right here, Bill.
Boy, he's everything in the heel there, and then he's thrown it all away. Now they come through 11. I think this will be the white flag lap, and he's got a long way to go. We talked about him being closer through 1, and he gave it all up.
I think Craig Parks had a little bit of trouble on the track. He's back under power, though, still comfortably sitting in 3rd place.
No worries. Back up to the front as they work their way through the S's now. Through 4. I think S-House is too far back. There they come, finishing the S's, heading towards the inner loop. 0.7 of a second. He's closing a little bit. He has a little bit of a toe. He's knocked off another second at 0.6 of a second. He's going to dive this car in hard. Let's see how he does over the bumps. Pretty good through there. No, he loses a lot of time now as Bieri starts to pull away. It's still about 8 car lengths. S-House trying to do anything. Maybe he has one more shot. Maybe he can try it at the toe if he can get close enough. They go through the chute. They head into the toe. It's about 6 car lengths now. Bieri trying to hit his marks, trying to be perfect. S-House looking for any mistakes. They've got a lap car in front of them. They got the James Stevenson. We're going to have the 2 leaders. We're going to get a nice picture opportunity here. Stevenson lets those guys by. Bieri clears them, and so does S-House. Now they come up to turn 8. This is where S-House threw the race away last time. Much better corner through that time. Bieri now down into 9 and 10. I just don't think there's anywhere for S-House to get this done. They go through 9.
It's all or nothing.
It's about 4 car lengths now. He's knocked off about 0.2 of a second. They go through 10. S-House with a pretty good drive out of 10. They get to 11. I don't know if there's anywhere to get it done here. It's about 2 car lengths now. Bieri minding the gap. And your winner, round 5 of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series in the Mustangs is Bieri, and right behind him, James Stevenson.
James Stevenson, your winner. Yes, sir. Walking away with it. Go back to Gene Fittis. He's going to come out of the last turn. He's going to finish second. Gene Fittis.
Second position for Fittis.
Parks coming out of the last turn now, trying to lock up 3rd.
Parks takes 3rd behind S-House, who finished 2nd in that class.
Okay, McField, he's making his way around the last turn now. McField looking for that podium finish today. Great job for the number 75 Asbury Motorsports machine. McField, what a ride today for him, Bill. Great race for that machine.
Extreme Motorsports 1, Kevin Ford, car number 32. Got a little bit of ways to go, working his way through 9 and 10, going to bring it home in 4th. There we go as we follow Ford. And Ford driving in a Ford, very appropriate. Comes
Very
Ford.
appropriate.
Oh, one car back, that's just ahead of Mama Jean Racing, who brings that car across. Then Anthony Woodward. Quiet top 5 finish for Tony in Slow Johnson Racing, though. That's a very good finish for Slow Johnson Racing on the lead lap. Okay, I think that's about everybody, so let's go ahead now, Sean. What we'll do is we'll take a short break. We'll come back, run down the entire field, get drivers in here for interviews, and then close it up. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's post-race coverage of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series, round number 5 from Watkins Glen. We're going to run down the standings for you now. We'll start with the Mustangs, the winning team with Extreme Motorsports 2. Their drivers were Patrick Bieri and Jeff Jacobs. Second place went to Team Bushfink. That was the blue team. And, of course, Bushfink, that was manned by Mika Eshouse and James King. And then finally, the final podium position went to Bushfink Red. That was manned by Greg Parks and Craig Williams. Fourth position went to Extreme Motorsports 1. The top 5 position rounded up by Slow Johnson Racing, Flying Tortoise Motorsports in 6th. And then 7th position was Mama Jean Racing. That was the Gin team. Then we move to our leader. You'll see on the standings there, it says 8th overall, and it is in the ST class, and that's Asbury Motorsports. That's team 426. And that team was, of course, manned by James Stevenson and Richard Losper. The second podium position went to Progressive Racing Australia, which was raced by a solo effort by Gene Fittis, as Flo didn't get to drive. And then the third car on that podium is Asbury Motorsports car number 75. That was piloted by Travis Swinkie, and then a great job by Mick Field. Fourth position in that class, 49 Motorsports, the C team. Team Scum, 12th overall, 5th in class. Heat and Bake Racing in 13th position, 6th in class. 49 Motorsports A team. Asbury Motorsports, the team number 74. Then we get to a car that had some trouble in the Mustang division. That was iRacing Today Motorsports. They finished 16th overall, last in class. Team Potato North America, 50 laps down, and Mama Jean Racing Vermouth, 69 laps down, and a rounds out your field for you. Okay, let's go ahead. First of all, we will talk to the winners in the Street Tuner division. That's going to be Richard Losper. See if we can run down Richard Losper and James Stevenson. Richard Losper, Richard and James, congratulations. Let me talk with Richard first. Richard, you had the opening stint. You were in a nice little battle with Houston for a long time. You brought the car home clean.
That's my job. I'm the clean guy and James the fast guy.
Were you a little worried with no yellow flags to help you out? You were back a little bit there, but you brought it in, turned it over to him, and he was... were you riding with James, helping him out there as you turned the car over to him?
Oh, absolutely. Fact is, it was not laid down. James will tell us. Things had to fall our way, and it so happened that they did. And we nearly ran out of fuel on the last lap as well.
My. James, you had Sonny catching way out there. He was not going to be caught until he made that mistake. Then all of a sudden it looked like you said, hey, I can win this thing.
Yeah, I just went out there and had a lap time number and just kept hitting it and thought, we'll see what happens. We knew there was a little bit of craziness going on up the front, and, well, it just all started to fall into place.
And then what was interesting is you got in a battle there with Houston. Again, boy, he gave Richard a hard time. Not a hard time, but near the end there, he was fighting with you. And there was actually a talk that he went so long on his first stint that he might go the distance. Were you a little worried about that?
Not at all. He was going to have to stay behind us to fuel save. And I think his first time there where he overtook us, I think he was just trying to help out John, trying to help John catch up to us. But after that, he gave up and just sat in behind.
Well, congratulations. It was great to see Asbury Motorsports again having another win. This is will bring you guys a little closer to that other team.
Yeah, well, I just want to give a bit of a shout out to Oculus. This is my first serious race with the Oculus Rift, and it was amazing.
Well, let me ask you, since you got that, I'll follow with one more question. It was amazing. It was fun. Do you think you were faster or can't say that yet?
Oh, I think I was the same lap speed. It's not really making that much of a difference, but the immersion factor is just out there.
That's great to know. I think little by little, everyone's starting to race those. Very cool. Well, congratulations, both you guys, on a victory today, and good luck next time.
Thank you.
There you go. Richard Losper and James Stevenson, Asbury Motorsports, the winning team in the ST class today. All right, let's go ahead and talk to Jeff Jacobs. We'll bring in Jeff. Jeff, can you hear me?
How are you? Yeah, sure can.
Hey, I know how to get a hold of your agent, but boy, you managed to find the guys to race with, don't you?
Well, that certainly doesn't hurt. Some good recruiting there is a big help, and especially when you got Patrick in there. Not only can he put down a blistering pace, but with the setups that he provides, just so consistent over the full run, really helps out.
Well, he had to work at it this time. It was not easy. We were minding the interval. He had a long way to go and a long time to get there, and he got there. But then, boy, he had trouble getting around. He had trouble getting the lead, and then S-House gave you everything you could ask for at the end.
Oh, he sure did. I mean, those guys, between James and Mika, and then you got the two Craigs. What a great battle between the 3 and 4 teams there at the top of the class. And yeah, I had a great opening stint, but I think today's race really shows that you got to have a complete stint. You can't just be fast for a few laps. And in my case, I had a nice stint, came in. How easy is it to hit the first pit box? Nope, a little too far to the left. I had to back up to get back into my pit spot properly, and so that made Patrick's task a little tougher.
I was surprised to see. I saw you surrender a couple positions going into the inner loop when your stint was going on. I was surprised. That seemed to be the passing zone of choice, which it made it really difficult because nobody could seem to finish it before the inner loop. Did you have any issues there at this race?
Well, I just kind of felt like, that early in the race, if those guys, got a run on me and were going to stick their nose in, going into the bus stop, I was going to let them go and just tuck in behind them, try to keep both of our pace, up. And, of course, just playing for handing it off to my co-driver.
Well, congratulations on another win. I like your formula for getting in there. You did a great job. Not to make, I make light of you teaming up with the guys. You had a very respectable first stint. And in all honesty, without any green flag laps, you needed every second that you didn't want to turn that any farther back than you did.
Absolutely. Just right to the very end there.
Right. Well, congratulations on another win for Extreme Motorsports 2. Good job.
Hey, thanks so much.
There you have it. Jeff Jacobs, another winner. He's certainly familiar with green flag. Director, where are we going next? We're bringing in all these Bushfink drivers are coming in. They're telling me. So here they come. Let's just bring in. I disagree with this philosophy. This seems like it's going to be chaos, but we're bringing in all the Bushfink guys. Hello, Bushfink Blue and Red. How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Hello.
Who should we talk to first? Let's talk to the guy who... let's talk to Mika. You got a copy, Mika?
Sure do.
There you go. You're the quietest one of the bunch, so we'll get you in first. Well, you just couldn't hold him off at the end. He finally got you.
Yeah, I give everything I could.
I want to ask about the inner loop and what line you would take. What is the defensive line? That seemed to be the passing zone of choice for the Mustang. Did you like to take the outside lane going into that, or the inside lane if you were defending, or did it just matter to you?
Well, the inside lane is definitely the easiest to defend from, but Patrick just got such a run out of T1 that every time he just got completely alongside me, so eventually he got it done there around the outside.
Well, it was very good. Your partner gave you a nice little lead. Let's see, is Craig in here? Craig Parks, you got a copy?
I certainly do.
Hey, nice run from you. You finished. Where did you finish up here today? You finished up third position. Is that where? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, third today. It was tough.
A pair of Craigs. You and Williams did a good job.
Yeah, I think it was pretty consistent. I don't know where the pace from practice went. I must have had the window open on the first stint, and it just flew away. But yeah. I think I was looking at those two catching me, and it was kind of in a 10th here and a 10th there of just, excuse me, focusing on me relative a little bit too much.
Well, let me talk to your partner, Craig Williams. You did a good opening stint, and then I think your partner spun it there at the end. lost a little ground in the closing.
I think we just had me and Craig are always really close on pace, and I was a little bit quicker than everyone else's second driver, but Craig was a little bit slower than everyone else's quicker driver. So it might have seemed a bit.
Yeah, I understand.
It might have seemed like a big lead at the beginning, but I knew once Craig had got in, he was still quicker than I was today. Once he'd got in, everyone was just gonna claw it off, and it was. I nearly hit Giuseppe into the bus stop. He made a mistake, and that lost us 2 or 3 seconds. But we were quite consistent other than that, and we, P3 is P3. I'm happy with it.
There you go. And then let's talk to the final P-True driver. There is do we have James King? You have a copy?
Yes, definitely.
Well, you did your job, buddy. You gave your partner a nice lead. He's gonna have to buy you a soda after this one.
Yeah, it was probably a lot better opening stint than it was the last time out at Suzuka. I sort of coped with the pressure a lot better, and I just felt more comfortable at the track. I've always been a big fan of it, and now I'm really sort of settling into the car as well. So I was really happy with the job I did, and obviously the job Mika did as well.
Yeah, it's a very exciting race. He got ran down there at the end, but boy, now when Mika, we'll wrap up there with Mika at the end. Mika, after he got around you, did you think you had something for him? Then you made that mistake on corner 8, and you weren't able to get back for that anything at the end.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to get a run for T1 and just see if I could do the same thing he was doing, but yeah, I just made that mistake on the second to last lap, and I knew pretty much then that was over. So that's a shame, but still a good race.
It was exciting. Well, let me ask one question to all you guys here, since you're all from Bushfink. Do any of you know actually what a Bushfink is? Anybody know that? See, nobody knows. Nobody. None of them know.
Bushfink is actually a German phrase for a schifink bird.
It's what?
Bear with me.
No, I don't.
But I'm led to believe that it is the German term for the bird schafink.
Okay, there we go. I think you are right. I think that is it. It is some type of bird, European bird. All right, boys. We'll have more quiz next week. We'll get you all in here. Hope to see you next time.
Thank you
very much.
Yeah, see you later, guys.
There you have all of Bushfink Racing. I'm glad that they were able to know a little bit of history about their team. All right, that'll wrap it up for us. I think, Director, are we done? Is there anybody else? We are done. All right, let me see if I can bring up my script now. You may be wondering why I'm all alone here, as my partner is over getting ready to do the bootleg series that's going to be on in just a few minutes. So if you guys are watching this live, why don't you kick on over there and enjoy that. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. We'd like to thank everybody at the, who do we want to thank? Well, everybody at the Quality Racing Syndicate for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Thanks to the companies and equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music that we've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Echolm and Casey Lalonde. See the screen on how to contact each of them. Thanks to my mic mate, Sean Ambrose, who's left me to do the bootleg series, our director, Amjad Yaman. Hey, Dougie Beard for those great camera locations. He always tries to keep those updated each week. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, your best bet is at GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Round 6 of the Continental Endurance Sports Car Series is July 23rd from it says Interlagos. I don't believe that. No, it's Interlagos. Somebody corrected that for me. Hopefully, GSRC will be there to bring up to cover that action. For all the details of upcoming events, go to GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. And now that the housekeeping is out of the way, it's time for us to go have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.